This is Kate Baconsale. You're listening to Baconsale.
Citizen Kane, drama. Dances with Wolves, drama. Dumb and Dumber, comedy. E.T. the Extraterrestrial, family. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, drama. Galaxy Quest, comedy. Gone with the Wind, drama.
I hardly knew you.
Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, family. Home Alone, family. Hook, family. Mean Girls, comedy. Misery, thriller. Napoleon Dynamite, comedy.
Debatable.
Predator, action. Shrek 2, comedy.
Best movie.
The Blair Witch Project, thriller. The Goonies, family. The Naked Gun, comedy. The Neverending Story, family. The Ring, thriller. Three Amigos, comedy. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, family. And many more that are gone, but not forgotten. This is our in memoriam.
Except for The Road, The Jerk, and all the ones that are at the very end.
Well, the ones that
They're just up on the screen really quick.
Those are the ones.
I thought you were going to do all 100.
No. Oh my goodness. No.
I was like, wait, this joke is still going.
I picked the ones I took personally. Because those are the ones that aren't in this bracket.
Wow.
Yes, but welcome to Baconsale. I'm Joel.
I'm Kent.
And I'm Zack.
I'd like to thank you for listening to our last show, our Best Friends on Television episode with Steven.
Besties.
Sam Moss said, fantastic episode. I laughed out loud several times. I don't know Steven, but I really do think he is my favorite. Steven, everyone's favorite Ross.
Yeah.
Well done, everyone. Hand claps. Nicole D. Hale says, I love how much I agreed with Kent Dunn on this one. I'm actually surprised.
Oh,
the only
come on.
friendship that I'm sad that didn't make the show was Roy and Moss from the IT crowd.
how do we not bring them up?
I don't know how, but that's a great one.
That was a big oversight.
They invented the internet.
Yeah. I felt so stupid for not even mentioning it all the mentions.
We've literally gone and sung the entire song about the
the new number, yeah.
Oh, man. And then Debbie Foster said, this episode was not what I thought it would be, but absolutely loved it. Way to go, Stephen Ross. I would have loved to see an enemies to friends. Might be a fun one.
Hey.
Relationship like Jim and Dwight from The Office, or friends to something more like Monica and Chandler from Friends. Great ideas. We're not doing a sequel, but those would be good on one.
We blew it all with our own mentions.
We can do TV enemies.
There's so many out there. But that's not what we're talking about today. What are we talking about today, Zach?
Today we are discussing...
Here we go.
The film of movies.
That's what we ended up going with?
I think so.
It was decided on the spot on a Facebook Live.
Yes, because we
think.
couldn't decide if it was going to be the film of film or the movie of movies, and we decided the film of movies was a good compromise.
And it wasn't the movie of films. It's somehow the film of movies.
Because these are films
because they
among mere
elevates it.
movies.
Yes, yes. Now, we have, last year, about March of last year, we started this journey where we did action movies.
Yes, we did.
Then we did comedy of comedies. Mm-hmm. Then we did drama of dramas.
Yes.
And then thriller of thrillers. Uh-huh. And then family movie of family movies.
Yes. 5 brackets, 32 movies each, and all given to us by you, the listener.
You, the listener, decided what was going to go on those brackets, and then we took those brackets, threw it all together on a giant Google form, had you, the listener, once again, vote for which ones you think should be in the film of movies bracket.
And you messed up again. I'll be the one to say it.
The ones I read in the in memoriam at the beginning were the ones I took personal offense that were not making it to the bracket.
We debated so much, I don't want to spend too much time, but there are definitely movies that belong on any major movies list that haven't been mentioned in any bracket show.
Yeah.
But that's okay. They're not part of the show.
Paul 13 still has never been brought up in the bracket.
And just to clarify, this did come from a form that went out and was filled out by a surprising amount of listeners. So thank you.
Yes.
You are helping create what I'm calling the Baconsale movie database, or the listener movie database, where you provided your scores, and we literally took those scores and sorted from the top, and these 64 went.
If you're not following us on social media, on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, you might have not seen this poll because we put it out there for the listener to fill out.
You could ask them sway.
So you can't be mad about what's picked because you didn't see it because you're not on social media. We can be mad because we were bothered by some of the things that didn't make the cut.
Before we begin, let's talk about how weird this is going to be, because we've talked about, this dramatic film versus this dramatic film. These are very comparable things, right? This comedy against this comedy, very comparable.
Yes.
How are we going to know what is the film of movies?
Well, we decided that it would be a little difficult to say, they're going to be compared by box office, because that's not going to work for some indie comedy that wasn't like big at the box office, but a huge hit.
Yeah.
But then we also couldn't do it by IMDb score because the general public sometimes may not like these really critically acclaimed movies. So we decided to leave it up to the cruel and cold hand of fate and randomized the list. And some of these matchups, listener, which you can find, go to baconsale.com, look for this episode, The Film of Movies, and you can download and view this bracket and then play along at home.
The entire episode could just be Zach reading the matchups and us not saying anything, and it's still entertaining.
It has been.
And it is bizarre. But we decided the only way you can really compare these apples and oranges is by basically throwing them in a fruit salad together and being like, all right, let's see how this works.
Yeah.
I do want to point out 2 quick facts.
Okay.
Just nothing any big. But the oldest movie we have here on our bracket, The Film of Movies, is The Wizard of Oz, 1939. Wow. And then we had the newest movie we have is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which came out in December of 2018.
All right.
And so we have quite the range here. I was happy to see that range. I am not happy for some of these matchups. And if you've never heard a bracket before, this is kind of how it works. I would recommend go and listen to the other Blank of Blanks movie episodes beforehand. We have 64 movies on this bracket that we're going to be going through. We're not going to get it through all today. This is only part 1. You will see part 2 next week. We'll take care of the rest of it. But for now, we're just going to get through this first round of 64. And I'm hoping we'll go a little faster because we have talked about a lot of these movies before.
But it's best of 3 with editing. This show should hopefully be okay.
It's not going fast.
No.
Let's try, gentlemen.
Zach, what's our first matchup?
We have Aladdin.
A kind-hearted street urchin and a power-hungry grand vizier vie for a magic lamp that has the power to make their deepest wishes come true.
And The Wizard of Oz.
Young Dorothy Gale and her dog Toto are swept away by a tornado from their Kansas farm to the magical land of Oz. Aladdin versus The Wizard of Oz.
Aladdin versus The Wizard of Oz.
Apples and oranges.
Both movies rated G, which is great.
And I will happily chime in with the listener score, which for Aladdin was 7.8, and for The Wizard of Oz was 7.6.
Really?
Yes.
Aladdin coming out in 1992. The Wizard of Oz coming out in 1939. Box office is difficult to compare her only because $30 are different than $90. But I'm going to try to not make too many noises. I'm trying to hem and haw too much, but it's hard because I love Aladdin so much. But what I'm judging here, let me put this on the table right at the beginning.
Go for
here.
You know what's going to change every matchup, right?
Generally,
Whatever suits your argument, for sure.
Of course. But what I'm generally going to be basing my opinion on is what is accessible and what is successful. Because some movies are very accessible, but they're so underground people don't really know or care about them. And then the other one is these really successful movies that make a lot of money, but not everyone's going to like it or even watch it. This one's not as easy because these are both very accessible and very successful movies.
Yeah, Aladdin has still stood the test of time.
I love Aladdin.
Yeah.
But The Wizard of Oz is still around, and it's from 1938. It is a perennial classic. It's been around forever. It is one of the hallmark moments in the history of film. It should go on. Aladdin is good.
Aladdin is great.
Aladdin is really good. Aladdin is not...
I would say immediately likable in the Disney cartoon pantheon.
It's
has an amazing hero, villain, princess, and animal sidekicks, and the music is perfect.
But it is third, arguably fourth place in the Disney Renaissance films. Just saying.
Wow.
So Zach
both
is
movies,
voting for...
I'm voting for Wizard of Oz.
Both movies are nominated for 5 Oscars, and each have won 2. And those Oscars are score and song for both movies.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty comparable. Thank you, Random Hand of Fate. I am also going to pick Wizard of Oz. I feel like when I think of film of movies or film of films, that Wizard of Oz is the iconic, and I'm going to use that word a lot, Zach. Yeah. It's the iconic classic film movie. Aladdin is one of my favorite Disney films, so it pains me to put it out
just
so early
like that.
But these are all great films. This is
everything
not only
is great. Everything is
not
deserving.
only
There's a couple bad ones.
There's 2 undeserving on this list.
But that's just it. So we had all the ones before where all the kind of the dross was cut out,
right?
And now this is like the cream of the crop. It rises to the top.
Ooh, I love that. It's a clean sweep. Wizard of Oz.
The Wizard of Oz moves on.
I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog too.
Our next matchup is Clue.
6 guests are anonymous. I'm sorry, just these matchups are so ridiculous. 6 guests are anonymously invited to a strange mansion for dinner, but after their host is killed, they must cooperate with the staff to identify the murderer as the bodies pile up.
Versus Tangled.
The magically long-haired Rapunzel has spent her entire life in a tower, but now that a runaway thief has stumbled upon her, she is about to discover the world for the first time and who she really is. Okay, Clue versus Tangled.
Clue came out in 1985. Tangled came out in 2010. As far as our listener score goes, Tangled was given a 7.7 average score, whereas Clue received a 6.9, one of the lowest.
Yeah, Clue's also really low on IMDb as well. I looked at the original reception of this movie, pretty low.
Oh, it's a cult classic.
It definitely gained a cult following. It made $14.6 million, actually lost money at the box office. But I think in DVD sales or VHS sales here in Utah, did pretty well.
Well, Tangled actually is also considered kind of a flop. It was not the mega hit Disney wanted it to be.
All right.
Because of the budget. The budget was huge, $260 million.
That's pretty big.
For an animated movie.
It did make 592.
It did.
But that's, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like the listener likes this movie, but the listener also knows that we kind of like this movie.
Which movie are you talking about?
Tangled. I think that we might have been played a little bit on this.
I think
scoring.
for the same. I think Clue does not belong on this bracket.
You don't think Clue is a
I
movie
think
of
they
movies?
are playing.
You hate comedies.
I think they're playing you, Joel. I think they're playing you by including Clue because it is nowhere near a film of movies.
I absolutely love Clue, but remember what I said at the beginning? Accessibility and success. Right. And I feel like
Clue, does the audience for Clue love Clue? Yes.
Yes. You get Clue fans around. They can endlessly quote the entire thing. I don't think, however, it's a film of movies. It is one of my favorites. It is a 5-star movie to me.
I know.
Tangled is only a 4.5.
Joel, I think you are
pretty close.
I think you are setting up the next round because I don't think Tangled holds up as a film of movies.
What?
Tangled is just a nice.
No, I'm going to tell you.
that was like a
I'm going
welcome
to tell you
back-
why it does because it feels like a classic Disney animated film, right?
Sure.
But it is likable for kids nowadays. There's no boring parts to it. You jump right in. It's fun, but it feels like a classic princess story.
No,
That's
I
why
remember
it's
saying
one of the
Welcome Back
better
Disney is what I said.
It's
American
one of the
Tangled.
better Disney movies out there.
I agree.
But I am voting for Tangled.
So am I.
I am voting for Clue, which is hilarious because I don't like Clue
Then why are you voting for Clue?
because I think it's more of an all-timer.
Okay. Interesting.
He hates Zachary Levi and Mandy Moore.
That's what he does.
Since Shazam, you're probably right.
Mandy Moore was in Shazam?
She was Shazam.
Tangled moves on.
All right, listen, I didn't want to have to do this, but you leave me no choice. Here comes the smolder.
Next, we have. Oh, I'm so sorry, Kent. This is a rough. This is a
This is a bad
What do you mean? What's going to happen?
This is a Kent matchup.
What?
Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers.
I love that movie.
While Frodo and Sam edge closer to Mordor with the help of the shifty Gollum, the divided fellowship makes a stand against Sauron's new ally, Saruman, and his hordes of Isengard.
They're taking the hobbits to Isengard?
What did you say?
Sorry, old memes.
And Mission Impossible Fallout.
Why did you put these two together?
We
Random!
didn't! Random fate!
Ethan Hunt and his IMF team, along with some familiar allies, race against time in a mission gone wrong, and they all go rogue. This stars Tom Cruise and Henry Cavill's mustache, which is brilliant.
Yes, it does.
Now, the funny thing about these two is that both of them are incomplete, or part of another story, I should say.
I'm
going to
cut you off right there. I'm going all against your sequel theory here.
How do you know
'Cause
my
there's-
sequel theory?
Your whole, you're like, if it's a second movie, it's not a full thing.
No. If
think-
it has a complete story arc in there, that's fine. Mission Impossible is a more complete movie than Lord of the Rings: Two Towers.
I do think that Mission Impossible, this is what it has going for it. You don't need to watch the previous 5 movies because you're like, it's a spy movie with a hero and a villain. I think that's great. But the Two Towers represents the Lord of the Rings, which is... No, it
You
sure...
can't do that.
It sure does.
You
Lord
can't do
of the
that,
Rings,
otherwise we have Mission Impossible Fallout represent Mission Impossible. Oh, no, because there's 2 Mission Impossibles
Well,
on
'cause
here.
that will
and
show
only
up.
one Lord of the Rings movie made it to our action.
I'm sorry, but would you rather vote for Mission Impossible or Lord of the Rings for best franchise?
Lord of the
Go
Rings: Two
on.
Towers or Mission Impossible Fallout?
Same.
We're not doing the franchise
Listen,
of franchise.
I'm just saying.
We're doing the
Listen, I'm already getting
movies.
upset. This represents the franchise. It's the only shout out for the best franchise out
They
there.
should have nominated the other ones.
The one
It doesn't
with-
matter.
So you're telling
Which
me
movie's the best? Which Lord of the Rings movie's the best?
I want
Two Towers.
Okay, great. Yes, it is. But it's also
Yep,
really close.
it is.
And so it represents the series as the best movie in the series. Why would that not be the film of movies? That's what I'm saying.
I want the one where the Hobbit runs, not Lord of the Rings.
Which one? What?
The Hobbit? You like The Hobbit?
Tom Cruise is short.
I was so confused because even though Joel and I agree and we're yelling at each other for some reason, well, I'm yelling at him. Yeah, I think we're both going for Two Towers. Are we not? Oh, come on.
We are.
Oh,
Okay, let's
man.
bring it back, gentlemen. Let's calm down a little bit.
I did.
Let's talk about the listener. Okay, Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers was given a listener score of 8.3. The most common score given was a 9.
Wow.
People love this movie. Mission Impossible Fallout got a 7.5.
It's a little too low. I love this movie. It's a great action film. So many fun scenes.
Yeah. I only vote for Lord of the Rings: Two Towers because I'm like, look, Lord of the Rings, I feel like I got the short end of the stick by only getting one movie on here because it really is one story divided in 3 chapters.
Yeah.
As opposed to Mission Impossible, which is these standalone arcs, except for Dead Reckoning Parabellum Part 3. So
Yeah.
I feel like Lord of the Rings at least deserves one round.
Zach, what would you have given it?
I would probably, in the end, have given it to Two Towers.
Yeah.
Tough to say no, because while Mission Impossible Fallout is
The
a good
sixth movie.
it finds a way to start to blur in. It doesn't stand out as anything more than this is a good part of this huge overall thing that's happening in the franchise.
It's also maybe tied or second best Mission Impossible movie, in my opinion.
That's a general consensus that this is one of the best. That this is the best installment of the franchise. Is Fallout,
It
which
is.
is
Debatable, right?
Yeah,
I like 4. I'm one of the only.
I like.
What's
3.
it called? What's the subtitle?
Ghost Protocol.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good job.
It's the one with Burj Khalifa.
and I like 3 with Philip Seymour
I
Hoffman.
love his songs. It's been a long... Let's move on.
Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers moves on.
They're taking the hobbits to Isengard!
Now we have 2 behemoths of film. Jurassic Park.
I hate this synopsis from IMDb, but whatever. A pragmatic paleontologist touring an almost complete theme park on an island in Central America is tasked with protecting a couple of kids after a power failure causes the park's cloned dinosaurs to run loose.
That's dumb.
It's Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
And The Sandlot.
In the summer of 1962, a new kid in town is taken under the wing of a young baseball prodigy and his rowdy team, resulting in many adventures.
So death rattle facts for The Sandlot.
You know how I know that Baconsale's recorded in the state of Utah? The Sandlot.
Because it was actually filmed in Midvale, Salt Lake City, and Ogden in Utah.
The Sandlot has 7.8 on IMDb. Isn't that crazy high for that movie?
It is.
But what about the Baconsale movie database, where the listener gave it a 7.1 versus Jurassic Park getting an 8.6?
Fun facts about Sandlot. As the narrator, Smalls, as an adult, says that Hercules lived to be 199 years old in dog years, which equals roughly 28 human years, doubling the lifespan of an average dog. 66 people found that interesting.
It's a monster.
And Jurassic Park moves on. Now we have How to Train Your Dragon.
A hapless young Viking who aspires to hunt dragons becomes the unlikely friend of a young dragon himself and learns there may be more to the creatures than he assumed.
No.
There's another Kent bad round.
No!
And Shaun of the Dead.
The uneventful, aimless lives of a London electronics salesman and his layabout roommate are disrupted by the zombie apocalypse. What in the world?
How to Train Your Dragon was given a listener score of 7.6, while Shaun of the Dead was given a 7.5.
I vote for Shaun of the Dead.
Did people pick Shaun of the Dead because they know we love it so much?
I hope.
Or is it just well loved?
I just hope it's well loved.
Hey, Kent, I vote for How to Train Your Dragon.
And I voted for Shaun of the Dead.
Zach, please don't.
How
Zach,
to
please don't.
Train Your Dragon.
I will say this. You guys know
guys,
this.
try to win me over.
Well,
Because
no,
I do have numbers here.
That's fine because you know my opinion. I like How to Train Your Dragon. I think it's a good movie. I love Shaun of the Dead, and I love showing it to people, and everyone I've shown it to has loved it as well.
I prefer Hot Fuzz.
I know,
When it comes
and
down to
some people do.
because I just for me,
And no
I
one
love
prefers World's End.
I like World's End.
Is it at World's End?
World's End?
Or is that the Pirates?
The World's End.
The
I
World's
don't-
End.
Yeah, maybe. But I prefer Hot Fuzz because I like the cop comedy better than I like the zombie comedy.
That doesn't take away from Shaun of the Dead.
No, it
though.
doesn't. It doesn't.
Shaun of the
But
Dead's
I-
still great. There would be no Hot Fuzz if they were not Shaun of the Dead.
I completely agree with you, but without How to Train Your Dragon, what do you have? You lose DreamWorks being legitimate in animation.
Yeah,
lose,
that's true.
You lose fantastic storytelling. You lose the dragon that is somehow relatable as both your pet cat and your pet dog. And then I know we're not going into the franchise, but this is a trilogy that grows with the character in such an amazing way. But the base that this sets. I mean, I think How to Train Your Dragon is one of the biggest surprises I've ever seen in movies because I was just expecting it to be Shark Tale. And then the score hits, the story hits.
Don't stop me now.
The animation is stunning. This is an all-time animated movie and somehow, some way, underrated, in my opinion.
It is interesting.
You think it's underrated? Even though it's well loved and gives
still
DreamWorks legitimacy.
Still somehow underrated.
Right, but we don't have a lot of horror on this list, right? Shaun of the
No,
Dead is
Shaun
one
of the
of
Dead
the
wasn't
few
on horror. It
representatives.
was on the comedy bracket, I believe.
Oh, that's true.
It was not on the. It was not on the thriller.
wasn't it
too.
on-
By the way,
both.
disappointed with everyone for not including more horror. I know it probably would have won.
Horror and comedy got shut
Yeah,
out
truly.
in this bracket. I was shocked.
Because they're not good.
Bite your tongue, sir. Kent, may I persuade you?
No, please do.
Please. How to Train Your Dragon made $494 $0.9 million at the box office.
Yeah.
Shaun of the Dead made $30 million. I vote for Shaun of the Dead with my heart, but I know it is not as successful as How to Train Your Dragon. I know that. Shaun of the Dead is a cult classic. It's also maybe not as accessible because some people don't like horror.
Okay.
It has also got the hard R rating,
Which I respect.
yeah, I know. But I feel like that does make it a little less accessible.
Oh my gosh, the hard R rating, How to Train Your Dragon, would be so good.
Oh,
I'd watch it.
I shouldn't say hard R. Harsh R is
Are
probably
you trying to convince me against Shaun of the Dead?
What I'm saying is I'm voting for Shaun of the Dead because I fully expected you to vote for How to Train Your Dragon. I know how much you love that movie.
Which movie do I prefer? Shaun of the Dead. Easily.
What?
Absolutely.
I'm shocked at this moment.
No, truly. Shaun of the Dead is a better movie.
You have a How to Train Your Dragon face tattoo.
I do. My tramp stamp.
Why is your face stamped to a tramp stamp?
No, I'm confused. Wow. I hate this so much, but I am going to go with one that is not for cult audiences, and I think that's How to Train Your Dragon. I think that has to move on. I think it is absolutely wonderful, and the sequels are incredible.
Shaun of the Dead, comedy.
Oh, How to Train Your Dragon moves on.
Wow, I'm sorry.
If you ever want to get out there to fight dragons, you need to stop all this.
But you just pointed to all of me.
Yes.
Now we have the 10 Commandments.
Moses, that's how they say it, raised as a prince of Egypt in the Pharaoh's household, learns of his true heritage as a Hebrew and his divine mission as the deliverer of his people from slavery. Deliver them.
Go.
And Beauty and the Beast.
A prince cursed to spend his days as a hideous monster sets out to regain his humanity by earning a young woman's love.
Now, this is a behemoth battle right out of the gate. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like this is one of those that I went, these are both
A lot of plagues in both. Okay.
super accessible, very successful.
Beauty and the Beast went so far in our family film bracket.
It did.
Right? But where we've talked about 10 Commandments being one of the 10 highest box office movies.
Yeah, adjusted for inflation.
Adjusted for inflation.
Made $2.7 billion.
Crazy.
It is also the longest runtime of any movie here on the bracket with 220 minutes.
Both
which was
movies?
a little bit longer than the Oscars.
Rated G, by the way.
Gentlemen, I don't think that the listener agree with you entirely, because when it comes to their scores, the 10 Commandments got 7.1, whereas Beauty and the Beast got 8.1. But if we look at the median score, kind of the most common responses, Beauty and the Beast is sitting like 8.5 versus 7 for 10 Commandments. So I think overall, you're going to get people who have a stronger positive opinion about Beauty and the Beast than 10 Commandments. And I disagree on accessibility as well. I think Beauty and the Beast is way more accessible.
10 Commandments was nominated for 7 Oscars, including Best Motion Picture. It only won special effects. Right? And this is Cecil B. DeMille, big movie.
Yeah.
Beauty and the Beast was nominated for 6 Oscars, including Best Picture, but it only won for Best Score and Best Song, like Beauty and the Beast. So look, but we talk about time, we talk about legacy, that would be 10 Commandments. That would be something you watch every Easter, right?
Because 10 Commandments came out in 1956, and it still to this day is watched, I think, every Easter.
Right? And I think biblical stories really appeal to the American audience. And what's a bigger biblical story than 10 Commandments?
Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah?
It's in the Bible, I'm pretty sure.
Probably.
In the Book of Lumiere.
Go up, thou bald head.
Yeah, Chip and Cogsworth. Oh, that was great in the Bible.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, looking at
Is the Beast Job?
Whoa. I mean, success-wise, monetary success, it goes to the 10 Commandments. Audience rating, it's going to go to Beauty and the Beast. So if that's, kind of weird because that's the public both saying, I give a lot of money to this movie, but also I prefer this one.
I'm going to give my vote to Beauty and the Beast.
Why is that?
I think it is the masterpiece that Disney has created. It is, I think, the quintessential Disney movie. And I know it was in the Renaissance, right? This is not Snow White. It's not Sleeping Beauty, but I think it encapsulates...
the Renaissance of Disney, not
Disney.
like the Renaissance.
The actual Renaissance.
Yes, they had Disney.
Beautiful
back then.
paintings.
Yes.
Too much nudity.
I mean, agree to disagree.
I love 10 Commandments. I really enjoy it, but it's like I
The
recall...
movie or the actual 10 Commandments?
Well, sure. But I recall moments from the movie. I don't recall major dialogue scenes, right? Beauty and the Beast, I could probably almost recite.
Well, because it's a breezy 84 minutes.
Oh, wonderful.
I'm doing the math in my head. That's
It's like third the time.
third of the time, yeah.
Joel, I'll let you off the hook. I'm voting Beauty and the Beast. I think it may be less impactful, but I do think it is basically perfect to Disney.
I love the coming together of different religions to make 10 Commandments in a way that different religions can all enjoy together. It is an epic film. Literally, I can call it an epic film because that is exactly what it is. I'm not just using that in hyperbole.
And
it's an epic film.
I gotta say, I feel like we have been very kind to this movie in the last year.
Yes.
I think it should be very clear. We are fans of the Ten Commandments. It is a good movie.
And as filmmaking, Beauty and the Beast already won, so I'll give my petty vote to Ten Commandments because as a film, for film lovers, it is essential viewing. You need to watch the Ten Commandments to see and just be in awe about how they pulled it all together in sets and design and costume and writing. It is a very long run time and it bogs down in the middle for a bit there. But
Right.
Okay, there's my pity vote for Ten Commandments.
Well deserved.
The movie. I'll still vote for the actual Ten Commandments.
And Beauty and the Beast moves on.
Be our guest. Be our guest. Put our service to the test.
Now we have men yelling. Not just Baconsale. A Few Good Men.
Military lawyer Lieutenant Daniel Caffey defends Marines accused of murder. They contend they were acting under orders.
And Braveheart.
Scottish warrior William Wallace leads his countrymen in a rebellion to free his homeland from the tyranny of King Edward I of England.
These are both very historically accurate.
Yeah.
Both of these.
Right.
Yeah.
Are we being played with A Few Good Men? Because we've talked about it so much in the past year.
Well,
we like this
we've
movie.
talked about how much we like Rob Reiner as the director of A Few Good Men.
I have started liking this movie less in the last year.
Because of
as
us?
I've looked at it more critically.
Because you've been drinking the Code Red? Have you been drinking the Code Red?
Because I think that everybody gives credit to A Few Good Men for a scene. And the rest of the movie is fine.
Oh, I disagree.
This
Kevin Bacon's
has
great flat
so
top
many great
notwithstanding.
actors in the
does.
movie. At the top of their game.
In
You
A
know-
Few Good Men. Tom Cruise, Jack
Yeah.
Nicholson, Demi Moore, Kevin Bacon, Kevin Pollak, Cuba Gooding Jr.
And you know who
Keith
doesn't get
Sutherland,
enough
J.D.
credit?
Walsh.
Who doesn't get enough credit is Tom Cruise.
I agree.
Because Jack Nicholson, like he simply spikes, the bump that was set up by Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is so good in that scene going against him. He doesn't get enough credit. But I just feel like it comes down to the climactic moment of this movie, and then everything else is pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be. I really like A Few Good Men. It is
good.
It's one of my favorite courtroom dramas. Maybe do courtroom dramas.
Ooh,
that's hard to
tedious,
say.
but yes.
I think.
Why
it
is 12 Angry Men not on the list? Right?
But I really do enjoy A Few Good Men. But I'm giving my vote to Braveheart.
As am I.
And I'm sure you would. Real quick, the listener score on this one: A Few Good Men got 7.4. Braveheart got 7.3.
Very close.
All right,
right.
lower. But Braveheart goes on. I guess I would vote for Braveheart as well. It's close for me on this one. Neither one is my favorite, but Braveheart goes on.
That they may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom!
Next up, oh my word, The Matrix.
When a beautiful stranger leads computer hacker Neo to a forbidding underworld. Why?
Why? This is dumb.
Don't you talk about the beautiful stranger with the white rabbit?
We really need to rewrite this.
He discovers the shocking truth. The life he knows is the elaborate deception of an evil cyber intelligence.
He's like working in an office, and then he gets a strange call from someone to go out there. Like, what a dumb synopsis.
And then there's a weird thing with his belly button, probably.
I would like that description more.
Versus Silence of the Lambs.
A young FBI cadet must receive the help of an incarcerated and manipulative cannibal killer to help catch another serial killer, a madman who skins his victims.
So we have, The Matrix coming out in 1999. Silence of the Lambs came out in 1991. It's a thriller versus a sci-fi thriller.
Yeah.
It's actually not a bad matchup.
No. The listener score on this one, The Matrix was given 8.0, and The Silence of the Lambs was given 7.6. However, there was a median score difference here. Most people gave The Silence of the Lambs about an 8, whereas most people gave The Matrix a 9. So it scored higher, but it doesn't resonate with everybody.
So one of the metrics I looked at was IMDb's top 250 movies of all time, which rarely changes. I think Dune Part 2 actually kind of did change things because it got a really good audience score, and that's what I'm going off of, right?
Okay.
And so Matrix actually got its number 17 on that list, whereas Silence of the Lambs is number 24 on that list. So Matrix is beating it strangely because usually a drama like Silence of the Lambs should generally take the
It
lead.
was on a thriller bracket, but okay.
I mean, good call.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more of a scary movie, I guess.
Well, and I feel like both of these, when I talk about accessibility, both of these, I think, are off-putting to different groups of people.
Why would The Matrix be off-putting?
Because the sci-fi element, and it's kind of a grimier sci-fi.
Okay, sure.
That kind of post-apocalyptic, grimy sci-fi.
Yeah, but doesn't that sell?
Not to everyone. Some people are like, it's too gross. I'm not a big fan of that. I don't really like sci-fi. And then Silence of the Lambs is off-putting. Because of the cannibalism.
Right.
And other things.
Oddly enough, that's not really off-putting.
It's a good advertisement for lotion.
What, Zach?
Wait, what'd you say? I just barely caught that too.
No, I don't think that's what's off-putting about the Silence of the Lambs.
Is that what you bit me when you hugged me?
I said this on the last time we talked about it. What the magic trick of this movie is that you find yourself rooting for the cannibal at one point. Does everybody feel that way?
Joel, should we?
I'm a little frightened right now.
Go?
Hold on, Army.
Zach, is that why you're wearing those night vision goggles?
Army, let's go out
Put
later.
the spork away.
Army.
Is that an Army Hammer reference?
Don't say his full name.
Did I just summon Army Hammer?
No, we're getting sued.
Oh, allegedly Army Hammer.
Allegedly.
This is getting
actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf.
Okay, so Silence of the Lambs was crazy successful, and Joel, I guess that's why I called it a drama, because the Academy rarely awards horror films, right,
Yes.
or thrillers.
Yes,
and it was nominated for 7 Oscars. It won 5 of them, including Best Picture, Director, Actor, Actress, and Screenplay. That's huge for a movie. That's impact.
It is. It's a huge impact. I will say this also: Silence of the Lambs is the 5th highest-grossing film of 1991. Matrix, 4th highest-grossing film. So it beat it out there, and it made more money. I'm voting for The Matrix with $467 million in its pocket.
I like the Silence of the Lambs better, probably. I think.
Of course you do, Zach.
I think it is an outstanding.
Maybe. I'm a little scared of you now.
It's like, Zach, which pill do you want to take? He's like, can I just bite your hand?
Can I take your hand? I think that Silence of the Lambs is a way more compelling movie, but you cannot deny the impact and like The Matrix changed movies.
It did. It did.
So if we're thinking about a film of films or a movie of movies or both, it's got to be The Matrix. That's my vote.
Why are we getting rid of the thrillers, guys?
Because it's The Matrix.
Yeah, The Matrix.
Matrix is a sci-fi.
You're wrong about underselling The Matrix, by the way.
It's a sci-fi thriller.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Although it was on our action bracket.
Clean sweep.
And The Matrix moves on.
Mr. Anderson.
Now we have, Rear Window.
A photographer in a wheelchair spies on his neighbors from his Greenwich Village courtyard apartment window and becomes convinced one of them has committed murder, despite the skepticism of his fashion model girlfriend.
Grace
Chapter 2.
Kelly.
Jesus,
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Directed by Alfred Hitchcock, James Stewart, Grace Kelly.
Long description. Great movie.
Yeah.
Against the Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
Wow.
What?
Huh?
So, Jimmy Stewart.
It's James Cameron.
Versus T2 Judgment Day, a cyborg identical to the one who failed to kill Sarah Connor, must now protect her 10-year-old son, John, from an even more advanced and powerful cyborg, directed by James Cameron.
Judgment Day got a 7.9 listener score. Rear Window 7.5.
This is apples and cybernetic oranges. Like, this is difficult
Don't eat
to
that.
compare.
These are,
This
you would
is
never
difficult to compare these two.
You would never group these in any reasonable way any human could think of.
So Terminator 2, this was also a 1991 movie, same year as Silence of the Lambs. It was the first movie ever to break $300 million in the worldwide box office. Pretty big deal for the time.
Yeah.
Also, many people's first R-rated movie. This or Aliens, probably.
Yeah.
Many people? You mean people our age?
People now. Gen Alpha. Don't watch this movie. I mean, where do we go with this? Okay.
Rear Window received 4 Academy Award nominations for Best Director, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Cinematography, Color, and Best Sound.
And it lost every single one of them.
It did. It didn't win any.
Terminator 2 was nominated for 6 Oscars and won 4 of the technical awards.
Yeah, Best Makeup, Best Sound, Best Sound Effects, Editing, and Best Visual Effects.
Terminator 2, in my opinion, is a sequel that you don't need to have seen the original. It just makes it better.
It makes it better.
I didn't see that way, and so I was very confused when I saw Terminator, and I'm like, why is he so mean?
I think we've talked about this on a previous show, but like it kind of excels at everything a sequel should be without being the same exact movie. And I know plot-wise, it's still a chase.
But is it because it was the movie of our teenhood, Kent? The action movie of our teenhood that everyone saw and enjoyed then. Do people still watch and enjoy it now?
I still enjoy the T-1000.
Because just saying, Rear Window came out in the 50s, and Terminator 2 Judgment Day came out in the 90s. Does Terminator 2 The Judgment Day, that's what I'm calling it apparently, Terminator 2 Judgment Day, does it have the same staying power as Rear Window? And I think yes. In fact, I think more because
Thanks for answering your own question.
I talked myself into something because right now I'm just thinking of all the technical achievements that Terminator 2 Judgment Day pulled into the cinematic world.
I agree. Oh man, Liquid Terminator, so good.
T-1000, he has a name. Robert Patrick.
Robert Patrick.
You sound like a grandma just then.
His name isn't...
Who's that Liquid Terminator?
It's not Robert Patrick in the movie. He's the actor, though. No.
I think about the initial reactions that I hear from people when I talk about these movies. With Rear Window, it's, I actually like that.
I'm sorry, though. Like, it takes place in an apartment building, and there's unraveling tension the entire time.
Oh, it's great.
That's
Very
cool
tense
that
movie.
it's pulled off.
We're not downplaying the movie.
It sounds like you are. For the Liquid
I
Terminator.
think there's a lot of like,
Liquid
that's pretty good.
Terminator.
But Terminator 2 is like, oh, that's awesome. So what do you want to go with?
Wait, so you're going to go with, oh, that's nice.
It's like, oh,
that's awesome.
lovely. Which one's more film of movies?
The Hitchcock classic or the James Cameron classic?
One of the Hitchcock classics. I would actually say that Vertigo is probably more popular than Rear Window, and it's not even on.
I know.
this
Shame on you,
bracket.
listener. It's T2. I know we're just kind of belaboring the point. Maybe I'll give it the pity vote just because
For Grace Kelly.
I like the movie and I like Grace Kelly. Zach, did you go for T2 as well?
Yeah, it's,
Okay.
it's Judgment Day, man. Now we have a rather sporting category with Good Will Hunting.
Will Hunting, a janitor at MIT, has a gift for mathematics, but he needs help from a psychologist to find his direction in life.
And The Karate Kid.
A martial arts master agrees to teach karate to a bully teenager. Basically the same thing.
These
Finding direction.
random matchups. I'm just going to come out and vote. Say I'm going to vote for the Karate Kid because
What?
Yes, I think
Go on.
no. Good Will Hunting is one of those movies that I was like, yeah, I enjoy that. That was good. I don't really care to watch it all the time. Karate Kid is one of those movies I did watch all the time, and it still holds up to this day when I show it to my kids.
gotta be
It is
nostalgia.
the iconic action 80s movie. And when you're going to show it to a kid, there's something relatable about this even today.
Do you know what Robin Williams would say to you if he was alive today? It's your fault. It's your fault for trying to vote Karate Kid forward against Good Will Hunting, which is a great movie with a great screenplay.
I don't think-
Believable acting, so sincere.
Both movies given 7.0 by the listener.
Okay, that's pretty low.
Yeah. I think The Karate Kid is a fun 80s romp.
Well, we needed kind of like a coming-of-age sports montage
Sure.
movie, right?
Yep.
We don't even have Rocky on this list.
Oh, that's probably the biggest omission, maybe.
It's a huge one.
The Karate Kid. I like
I'm
The
sorry.
Karate Kid.
I'm so sorry. I forgot you guys were the Academy and only give awards to dramas.
Oh,
and
no.
those
What have I
dramas,
done?
Only the dramas get the awards.
And it
go away, little action comedy movie. Go away, Pat Morita. We'll give you a little nomination, but we won't actually give you an award.
It should be also mentioned that The Karate Kid has a very important place in the history of Baconsale, as it was featured in episode 1.
Probably the only reason why it's on this list.
Oh, maybe.
And it's a darn good movie.
It's darn good. That's a darn good film of movies.
Zach test, if I had these two movies in there, I would pick Karate Kid almost every time. Maybe occasional Good Will Hunting if I want to hear Bostonian accents.
See, honest Zach test, I don't think I'd go for The Karate Kid. I have not. I've had opportunities to watch this movie, and I don't. I never cared about the sequels or Cobra
So you're
Kai.
both voting for Good Will Hunting?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm voting for
the
You're
TV
knocking
edit
out the
alone.
Karate Kid.
Oh, well, sweep the leg.
We're sweeping the leg.
You guys are not the best around.
Oh, and Good Will Hunting moves on.
Well, I got a number. How do you like them apples?
And this next matchup is, without a doubt, my favorite, close to Jurassic Park.
From the
Sandlot.
randomizer?
Yeah, love this one so much. We have Paddington 2.
Oh, Zach choice. Here we
Paddington, now happily settled with the Brown family and a popular member of the local community, picks up a series of odd jobs to buy the perfect present for his Aunt Lucy's 100th birthday, only for the gift to be stolen.
And Psycho.
What? Hold on. Paddington 2 versus
Psycho.
Norman Bates.
What was that?
That was not me. That was Zach,
Was
everybody.
that Paddington?
He's going
Was
full
that Paddington
He's going
wielding
cannibal
a
mode
knife?
again.
Marmalade.
He's stabbing the air saying, marmalade. A Phoenix secretary embezzles $40,000 from her employer's client, goes on the run, and checks into a remote hotel run by a young man under the domination of his mother.
So
a boy's best friend is his mother.
Yes, Psycho, classic thriller from 1960, directed by Alfred Hitchcock.
Vertigo
Paddington 2
is the classic of Hitchcock or Psycho?
I like Psycho more than Vertigo.
Sure.
Okay. We stated that back on episode, what was that?
Lots of them.
Oh, yes,
Long
episode
time ago.
175, The Men Who Knew Too Much About Hitchcock. Paddington 2 is the new up-and-comer where it's like, this is such a darling. This is such a darling. It's a wonderful, happy movie.
So Psycho obviously has the legacy, right? It is number 36 on IMDb's top movies of all times. It was nominated for 4 Oscars, including Best Director. Paddington doesn't have that kind of staying power because it's brand new, essentially, right? But you know what it has?
Brand new, 7 years old.
I hate this argument so much.
No, listen. It is tied with another movie that didn't make it onto our list. One of the
Paddington?
greatest
Paddington,
films of
yeah.
all time, Paddington 2, Citizen Kane, with a 99% Rotten Tomatoes score. And I'm sorry I'm referencing that, but it was a big deal for Paddington 2. It was 100 for the longest time. One of the highest rated movies ever on that crappy site.
Speaking of ratings, we have Psycho at 7.5, Paddington at 7.1 from the listener.
We all love Paddington 2. We've all expressed our love for Paddington 2.
I've said many times, Paddington 2 is the greatest movie ever made.
But I feel like when we're talking about the film of movies, a thriller that transcends like traditional horror that people are like, oh yeah, that movie, whatever. It's got to be Psycho. I have to vote for Psycho.
Did we not give Paddington enough love on the family movie show? Did we cut it out too early? Should we give it some love here?
Zach would have to go to the end. And
Zach?
Once again, I'll put in a plug. You should all go out and watch Paddington and Paddington 2, listener. Every single one of you.
Use the promo code Baconsale at checkout.
You should watch Psycho, and then when you're like, oh, I got the chills. I'm thinking about Zack eating me. And then you're like,
why do you think about Zack eating?
He's a cannibal.
There's no cannibalism in Psycho.
Zack yeah. And then you should watch Paddington 2. Right.
Actually, Paddington 2 is perfect. Like,
can you imagine the dreams you had after doing a double feature of Psycho and Paddington 2?
Marmalade. That's Zach's fault. Zach, what do you say? Are you going to kill your darling little bear?
Oh, I am going to put Paddington into the shower and stab him several times because everybody knows. I love Paddington 2. It's probably my favorite movie ever made, but it's Psycho. How can you say no? I'm not that dumb.
Clean sweep.
Psycho goes on.
Let's put it this way. She might have fooled me, but she didn't fool my mother.
Now we have Saving Private Ryan.
I got this.
It's such a funny movie.
Following the Normandy landings, a group of U.S. soldiers go behind enemy lines to receive a paratrooper whose brothers have been killed in action.
And Ghostbusters.
Wow.
I feel like this is really insensitive somehow.
3 parapsychologists forced out of their university funding set up shop as a unique ghost removal service in New York City, attracting frightened yet skeptical customers. What? They bust ghosts.
Yeah.
Busting makes them feel good.
It's going to say, it feels irreverent. Wait till later, Zach.
It gets worse?
It gets worse.
Okay.
I just looked ahead in the bracket.
I'm hearing what you said, Joel. I don't want to just be the Academy. I don't want to just go to the Prestige. I think that Ghostbusters is one of like the greatest like fun summer movies of all time.
Mm-hmm.
I still feel like it went a little bit far in our comedies bracket because it doesn't feel like a pure comedy to me.
Okay.
What I like about this as a film of movies is it's got, it is funny, but it's also got some action and it's also got some scares and it's got some good character design. And like it has so many elements that come together to make this fun.
It's weird because it's not like an action movie per se either. None of these guys are action stars.
No.
There's just scenes where there are ghosts and there's lasers, and that seems fun like an action movie. So it feels pacing-wise like an action movie.
Yes.
No, it's liquid Terminators and lasers. I know what I'm talking about.
Marmalade.
But then you have Saving Private Ryan, which is like a sacred movie. Is it too sacred?
So Saving Private Ryan, if it was really that sacred, it would have won the Academy Award.
Oh,
that's not fair because it should have.
Shakespeare in Love beat it out.
Spielberg won for Best Director, but it didn't win Best Picture.
No.
How weird.
It's because Ben Affleck was in Shakespeare in Love that year. Everyone just loved him. I don't know.
And Ghostbusters was nominated for 2 Academy Awards, but it lost to Woman in Red and Temple of Doom.
But what did the listener give it? Because Ghostbusters got 7.2 listener score. Saving Private Ryan got 8.3. So
this one's interesting because this is one of the great war films against one of the great like fun summer movies.
Yes.
And I don't know where I stand.
Kayla, just say it out loud. Oh yeah, we had Ghostbusters beat Saving Private Ryan in our bracket.
For the film of films.
Bye credibility.
But are you sure?
But to the Academy?
No, I think this is
okay.
What
is the drama of dramas, though?
What are we doing? What if these are both in the comedy of comedies? Which one would you vote for?
I mean, it's a close one. Even to the general public, right? These are both approachable movies, as you've talked about before. These are movies that so many people have seen, and I think Saving Private Ryan, you can just walk up to somebody and say, "What is the most impactful movie you've ever seen?" Saving Private Ryan will probably be in their top 3.
But let's also say, hey, I'm going to chill out on Saturday afternoon, watch a movie. I want to pop in something, just, chill, have a good time. Are you really popping in Saving Private Ryan?
Zach, how old should you be to watch Saving Private Ryan?
I watched
to appreciate it, not just like it's an R-rated movie, to appreciate Saving Private Ryan.
It came out when I was 7. I think I saw it by the time I was 8. And it
really
was a history lesson.
This explains so much.
Yeah.
Wow.
Explains the whole cannibalism thing before.
Yeah, I think it...
Wait, so you really did? You could appreciate it?
It was what opened my eyes to what was happening in World War II.
It's so interesting because Joel and I, we grew up, right? Probably 8 years old watching Ghostbusters. And it was that kind of movie for us.
I was scared of Ghostbusters when I was a kid.
But not Saving Private Ryan?
And I think we're talking about it so much because like I could go with a fun argument that I think Ghostbusters is, even though it's a little perverted, is a movie for everyone. Even though it's a bit dated, it's a movie that the whole family can watch and enjoy.
Perverted, because the one stupid scene you can jump over.
Yeah, right. Oh, or they're Saving Private Ryan, which I feel like you have to be, honestly, almost 20 or 8 in Zach's case.
No,
to
I
really
agree.
go, oh my gosh, this is big. This feels like something. It feels like reality. And that's why it's like, oh man, that's hard to watch.
I agree.
Although I do think Band of Brothers is a better version.
I could get behind that as well. I don't think that the whole easy breeziness of Ghostbusters necessarily makes it better, because people, when they want easy breezy, watch The Big Bang Theory. So,
wow. Don't. That's not Ghostbusters. Come on. That's not okay.
Just because it's easy breezy. Just because it's easy breezy doesn't mean it's good.
Yeah, but Ghostbusters
is
it's a formula that they've tried to sequelize and recreate several times. And it's so unique in Hollywood.
Sure. It's close, but I'm going to go Saving Private Ryan.
I'm going with Ghostbusters.
Of course you are. I knew it.
You're just
I knew
playing
it.
Kent.
I really am.
You couldn't decide. So
I couldn't decide, so I'm just going to make Kent decide. Actually, I did look at my scores here. I gave Saving Private, which is my personal score, I gave Saving Private Ryan a 4.5, and I gave Ghostbusters a 5. Because of the rewatchability factor. I can't just pop it in. It's Saving Private Ryan should be viewed.
Yeah.
But it's not one I'm going to pop in all the time and watch.
Is Ghostbusters required reading, essentially?
Yes.
I mean, we did have Matt watch it, remember?
He hated it.
He hated it.
This is not meant as an insult or derogatory at all, but like Ghostbusters does seem like a perfect Joel movie. Like I could see why you would.
That seemed like insulting and derogatory.
Yeah, I know.
I can see why you would absolutely love it. Like it feels like it just like
It's
perfectly
horror, it's comedy.
meshes with your personality.
Yes. And that's
makes
why
sense.
I'm voting for my personal vote here. I also feel like Ghostbusters had a bigger influence on kind of pop culture than Saving Private Ryan.
Sure.
Saving Private Ryan is like a history textbook where it's like, you should watch this and you're going to learn something, and it's going to be hard, but you're going to be a better person after it.
My kids have never even seen that movie, and they know the song.
Oh, yes. Okay, Kent, it's up to you.
I hate you both.
I understand.
That's normal around this time of the bracket.
Ghostbusters.
Wow. That's...
You know what, Zach?
You're going to get some letters.
No, it's the right choice. I was thinking about it, and I'm like,
Okay.
I'm willing to accept that kind of hate. It's the right choice.
There is... Okay. I'll give you Ghostbusters. That's... You just knocked out Saving Private Ryan in the
sure
first
did.
round. Okay.
So we just moved ahead Venkman and Love over Saving
for
Private
a Bill
Ryan.
Murray comedy. You knocked out
Comedy
Saving
has
Private
a
Ryan.
place in the film of films.
It sure
bracket.
does. And it's a thriller. And it's a lot of things.
Hey guys, Ghostbusters moves on.
I collect spores, molds, and fungus.
This one's kind of a fun one. We have The Princess Bride.
A bedridden boy's grandfather reads him the story of a farm boy turned pirate who encounters numerous obstacles, enemies, and allies in his quest to be reunited with his true love.
And Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
King Arthur and his Knights of the Round Table embark on a surreal low-budget search, I love that, for the Holy Grail, encountering many very silly obstacles.
The Princess Bride was given 8.3 by the listener, whereas Monty Python and the Holy Grail was given 7.1. Quite a big difference.
Monty Python is rated PG, everybody. Rated PG.
PG-13 didn't exist.
I'm voting for...
I'm voting for The Princess Bride.
I am as well. I'm voting for The Princess Bride. I really, really like Monty Python and the Holy Grail, but I'm looking here.
I'm going to give it a pity vote then.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah. I do think it actually is like, maybe the quotes ruined it back when I was in school, but then when I finally watched it, I think I was old enough to appreciate that kind of weird British comedy.
Yeah.
It's kind of perfect for that.
These are probably the two most quotable movies on this whole bracket.
Oh, yeah.
And the fact that they're going against each other in the first round, silly.
Monty Python and the Holy Grail is the lowest grossing movie that we have here on our bracket.
Because of the time.
Yeah. And it also was also lowest budget.
Yeah. Princess Bride did lose money, though.
It did. I think it may have gained it back in VHS and DVD
Utah
sales.
VHS sales.
Just in Utah.
Not just in Utah. It's everywhere. Everyone loves it.
We saved that movie in Newsies for sure.
I really hate voting out Monty Python, though, because it really did make a huge impact on comedy. But Princess Bride, yeah. Okay.
And The Princess Bride moves on.
No more rhymes now, I mean it.
Anybody want a peanut?
Yeah!
Now we have The Shawshank Redemption.
Over the course of several years, two convicts form a friendship seeking consolation and eventually redemption through basic compassion.
And John Wick.
An ex-hick man comes out of retirement to track down the gangsters that killed his dog and took his car.
Why do you guys like John Wick?
Everyone loves John Wick.
No, I'm not questioning it. I just want you guys to talk about it for a minute.
Oh,
Because
here's the thing. Okay, look. If John Wick was against many other movies on this bracket, I would happily push it forward.
I would pick it over Tangled.
Oh, for sure. I think what John Wick does for action, granted, it's not the most like inventive filmmaking, but it made people excited about action again. I think
because it was made by stunt people, and it was these long, choreographed, very intricate fights and gunplay where it's not just these quick, choppy trick shots.
Right.
Like you were like, wow, Keanu Reeves, serious power.
The first time you see that attack in his house, you're like, wow, this is actually fun to watch, and it shouldn't be.
I mean, it's no Ghostbusters, but go on.
And also, it spawned 3, in my opinion, great sequels. I mean, that's pretty cool. Shawshank Redemption, no sequels.
So which one had more impact?
Right? Come on. The Boogeyman's in one. There's some bad people in the showers in the other.
No,
I do think John Wick, I'll talk more about it. I do think John Wick will have a lasting legacy in the action genre. Yes. That's why we've given a lot of love to John before. The movie clips so fast. The replay on John Wick, all of them, but especially number 1, super high.
By the way, Shawshank Redemption is the highest rated on IMDb of any movie on our bracket with a 9.3.
It is also the highest on the Baconsale
Really?
database at
I didn't think so.
8.8. John Wick got 7.3. The most common score, the median score given to Shawshank Redemption is a 10.
Wow.
It received the most.
Were there some people that gave it a 1? Then?
Received the most 10 votes. It
Okay.
received some mediocre
Some lower
votes.
votes.
But
Sure.
Most 10 votes.
All right. I do love you, John Wick. Please don't come after us. We love your dog,
We do.
but we're voting for Shawshank Redemption.
All 3 of us?
Yep.
Oh, for sure.
I have to remind myself that some birds aren't meant to be caged. Their feathers are just too bright.
Come on. This is another bizarre one with The Sound of Music.
A young novice is sent to her convent in the 1930s Austria to become a governess to the 7 children of a widowed naval officer.
And Aliens.
Wait, Aliens?
Aliens.
Decades after surviving the Nostromo incident, Ellen Ripley is sent out to reestablish contact with the terraforming colony, but finds herself battling the alien queen and her offspring.
Now, I'm trying to remember, was Aliens on the action, Alien on the thriller, or were they both in the same one?
Aliens was action, Alien was thriller.
Okay, so
Which is just true to
right.
life.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's right.
Yes.
By the way, we should give some love to some directors that appear several times here. We've already heard from Alfred Hitchcock,
Yes.
Steven Spielberg,
Yep.
James Cameron.
Yes.
Big dogs.
Which we got James Cameron with Aliens right here.
Yes. This
Took
is the
over from,
second
and
of
Ridley
3.
Scott will appear a few times as well, but we have Aliens instead of Alien. Joel, does that hurt it, in your opinion, to have the sequel instead of the first one?
No, because I'm one of the people who prefer Aliens to Alien.
But
I
do you need
prefer-
the first movie first?
I don't think so.
No. No, you can
Okay.
hop right into that one and be like, these
you
aliens
know,
are terrifying.
It's like you don't get answers as to why the crew is there in the first place in Alien. You just accept that they're there. I think it's the same thing.
Yeah. And actually, you could jump into the second half of Sound of Music. You don't need to see the first half.
Wow. Yeah, rapid tone change.
Yeah, very much so.
Or you could just avoid the Sound of Music altogether.
So Sound of Music was nominated for 10 Oscars. I know, Joel's, are you giving him daggers right now?
No.
Are you giving him marmalades?
No.
Okay, so Sound of Music was nominated for 10 Oscars. It won 5, including Best Picture and Best Director, whereas Aliens was nominated for 7 Oscars, surprisingly won 2 for sound and visual effects, which totally makes sense.
Sound of Music made $286 million at the box office back in 1965, and Aliens made only $131 million, and that was in the 80s. I think accessibility and success go to Sound of Music this round. That's where my vote is going.
I think goodness of movie goes to Aliens because I like Aliens and I don't like Sound of Music.
Isn't it weird? Aliens came out in 1986. Doesn't it seem like it's a newer movie than that? Like, it's aged really well in my mind.
There's something to the grimy, dark nature of it that just for whatever reason is aged super well.
And like the practical suits of everything.
Yeah. I mean, the xenomorph we've talked about on this show is probably arguably the greatest creature design ever.
And James Cameron is the Mr. Sequel, honestly.
Yeah, he can pull that off.
So you're saying Aliens is a better movie?
I would much rather watch Aliens. I like Aliens.
And Bill Paxton freaking out.
But
Paul Reiser.
But Zach, listen to yourself. Aliens beat the Sound of Music.
I would be fine if I never watched The Sound of Music again. I might watch Aliens tomorrow.
How dare you? Although if there were aliens in the Sound of Music, that would be an awesome movie.
Whoa, xenomorphs!
Instead of Nazis, it's aliens.
Xenomorphs!
What's the problem with Maria?
I really like when,
I am 16 going. Game over!
when Maria's spinning around on the hilltop and Ripley shows up in the mech suit.
Oh, man. This is
So
a great
long.
movie.
Farewell. I'll see you in the morning. It's Sound
She
of
made
Music.
a mech suit from the curtains.
Zach, I'm sorry. It's Sound
I
of Music.
understand.
I love you, aliens, but you don't hold up to a nun.
The Sound of Music moves on.
I am 16, going on 17. I know that I'm naive.
And now we have The Dark Knight.
When the menace known as the Joker wreaks havoc and chaos on the people of Gotham, Batman must accept one of the greatest psychological and physical tests of his ability to fight injustice.
And Whiplash.
Which I just got from this matchup.
Yeah. A promising young drummer enrolls at a cutthroat music conservatory where his dreams of greatness are mentored by an instructor who will stop at nothing to realize a student's potential. Do you hate me? Is that why you're putting this matchup here? Zach, is this you?
You know what this is?
Random
You know what this
hand,
is?
fickle fate.
This is the film Twitter matchup.
Oh, wow.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, everybody on film Twitter.
Christopher
loves
Nolan
it.
versus Damien Chazelle.
I'm very happy that Whiplash made
Myers
it here.
Teller versus
because I think
Christian
this is
Bale.
kind of a modern masterpiece.
Yeah, I was surprised Whiplash made our bracket. I didn't think as many people had seen it. And in fact, I mean, Dark Knight, $1 billion at the box office, and that was in 2008. And then in 2014, this movie made about $49 million.
Yeah.
These two are interesting as well from a listener scoring standpoint. Whiplash scored 7.1, which is pretty good. Dark Knight 8.6, obviously way higher. The interesting thing was the Dark Knight got a substantially higher number of people who had seen it.
Oh, that makes sense.
Because if you didn't see it, you didn't score it.
But if you've seen Whiplash, you'll love it.
Yes. So
Okay.
those that have seen it, for the most
You'll
part,
love
really
it or
like
feel
it.
really uncomfortable during it.
But there are people who did feel really off-put and uncomfortable by it and scored it quite low.
Wow. Whiplash was nominated for 5 Oscars. It won 3. And Dark Knight was nominated for 8 Oscars. Should have been Best Picture and only won 2.
So yes, I'm voting for Dark Knight here. I think Whiplash is a fantastic film, a stressful, engaging film.
Agreed.
But it's not The Dark Knight. It didn't transcend superhero movies into actual dramas.
I've said it on the show. I'll say it again. I do think at this point, The Dark Knight is just a touch overrated. It's still really good. I love it. I saw it in theaters 3 times. I've seen it many times since. I do think it is not the holy grail of film, but it is a more important
Pretty darn
movie.
close.
It's a more important movie than Whiplash, a movie that I love. I legitimately watched the scene, the ending, drum sequence where they play Caravan, and I just get chills. It's so good, and it's a culmination of this amazing movie. If you can
Back and
stand
forth
this,
teacher and student.
if you can stand the stress of it, definitely watch
And the
Whiplash.
language of it.
And the language and chair throwing. It's a great movie, and it does save jazz. Thank you, Damien Chazelle. But I have to vote The Dark Knight.
The 2 worst words to hear are good job. So sorry, good job, Whiplash.
Good job, Whiplash. The Dark Knight moves on.
Some men just want to watch the world burn.
All right, we finally made it to the second half of our bracket.
There we go.
We are only
That's what we
doing
do.
first round. This is just crazy. But we have Casino Royale.
After earning 00 status and a license to kill, secret agent James Bond sets out on his first mission as 007. Bond must defeat a private banker funding terrorists in a high-stakes game of poker at Casino Royale, Montenegro.
I read that as after earning status.
Oh, status.
Versus Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Wow. In 1936, an archaeologist and inventor, Indiana Jones, is hired by the U.S. government to find the Ark of the Covenant before the Nazis can obtain its awesome powers.
Congratulations, randomizer. You finally took half the bracket, but we finally got to the matchup that makes Zach want to pull his
James
hair
Bond
out.
versus Indiana Jones.
What are we doing here?
2 of the greatest cinematic heroes ever.
And specifically, the birth of Indiana Jones came from them, George Lucas wanting to make a Bond movie, and Steven Spielberg
right.
wanting to make a Bond movie. Like they couldn't. So George Lucas is like, hey, well, what if we kind of take that energy and put it into this serial idea where we make a hero?
So Zach, let's just start with you then. Who would you vote for, Eva Green or Karen Allen?
Oh, Eva Green.
Okay.
Fair.
Oh, let's keep going with that.
Okay.
So this is the only Bond movie on the bracket, right?
It is.
Is this
Which we were surprised. There were so few on the action movie of action
Is
movies.
this the representative Bond movie that you'd like to show up here on the bracket?
This is the prestige Bond movie, in my opinion. This is the best film of films. Bond
like the
movie.
accessible Bond movie?
It's not necessarily my favorite, but I do stand by it is the best. It might not be even the most representative, but it is the best movie of the franchise. So I'm thrilled that it's here.
Better than Goldeneye. Better than Goldfinger.
Better than GoldenEye. Better than
Better
Golden.
than Man with Golden Gun.
Way
Let's go with
better
all the
than
gold
that one.
here.
You only live twice.
That is probably my favorite one.
I love that one too.
I think that one's wonderful. But Casino Royale.
Save for our Bond show.
Casino Royale is, I think it is engaging as a Bond movie and as an action movie and even as a drama.
Are we talking about it a lot because we're not voting Casino Royale ahead?
Well, Zach's talking about it a lot.
I'm nervous. So I'm
You want us to make it easy?
The listener said Casino Royale at 7.3 and Raiders of the Lost Ark at 8.4.
Wow.
Median score of a 9.
That actually matches the IMDb score of 8.4 for Raiders of the Lost Ark versus 7.
Very
8
high
for
score
Casino
for
Royale.
Raiders. The only reason I want to knock Raiders of the Lost Ark out is because it uses the word Raiders, and that reminds me of my least favorite football team.
The Tomb Raiders, right?
Grasping at straws.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Pittsburgh Raiders.
Sure.
I'm voting for Raiders of the Lost Ark.
I know you are.
I really do enjoy Casino Royale. Highly enjoy Casino Royale. But Raiders of the Lost Ark is, when you think of film of movies, it's adventure, it's action, it's comedy, it's horror at parts.
He's so handsome.
It's romance.
Yeah.
It's everything.
There's no Eva Green, though.
There's no Eva Green, but it does have Harrison Ford.
That's all you need.
Kent, what are you voting?
Easily Raiders.
Oh, then I'll do the thing you guys do, the pity vote.
Good. Does that make you feel better?
No.
Doesn't it feel good?
Aw,
It does not feel
it feels
good.
a little good.
Good
But
job,
hey,
James Bond.
I just gotta shout out Daniel Craig's Baby Blues. So good.
Are we talking about his eyes or his swim trunks coming up out of the water?
Oh, hey, that actually happened.
Porque no los dos.
Yeah.
And with that, Raiders of the Lost Ark moves on.
I hate snakes, Zack! I hate them!
Now we have Mary Poppins.
In turn of the century London, a magical nanny employs music and adventure to help two neglected children become closer to their father.
In it versus The Godfather Part 2.
The early life and career of Vito Corleone in 1920s New York City. I can't keep this up. Is portrayed while his son Michael expands and tightens his grip on his family crime syndicate. Mary Poppins versus Michael Corleone.
What kind of matchup is this?
There we go. That's better.
I know this is an impression from The Godfather, the first one, but
It still stands. Yeah.
What are we doing?
You have De Niro, and that just becomes his actual voice. So Mary Poppins was nominated for 13 Oscars. It won 5, including Best Actress. Godfather Part 2 was nominated for 11 Oscars. So less, keep in mind, but it won 6, including Best Director, Best Picture, etc. That's a lot.
These are 10 years apart from each other. And Mary Poppins made 103 at the box office, and Godfather made 93 at the box office. So they're 10 apart in that as well.
Disney, for a time, did like the hybrids, right?
Yeah.
Back in the day. And Mary Poppins is the best representation of that.
Mary Poppins with a listener score of 7.3. The Godfather Part 2 with a listener score of 7.7. I think Mary Poppins was ruined for me by that Saving Mr. Banks movie.
Oh, yeah.
I've liked Mary Poppins less since that movie, which is not Mary Poppins' fault.
It's just
Is it Walt Disney's fault?
Backstory.
It's modern Walt Disney's fault. I don't know.
This is not an easy choice.
It's pretty easy.
Is it?
It's a pretty easy choice. It'd be even easier if it was the first Godfather.
I'm voting for Mary Poppins.
Okay.
Well, you're wrong.
That's
just like that.
Just like
I
that.
don't know why that felt mean.
Did that feel mean?
Yes, it did.
That was mean.
Did I betray you?
You hurt me.
I only know quotes from the first movie. So The Godfather Part 2 is what I will vote for.
Wait, that argument made no sense. I only know quotes from the first movie, but the second movie is where my vote's coming from because it's not quotable. Like, you quote Mary Poppins right now, can't you, Zach?
Yeah, step in time, man.
That's not how it goes.
Zach, I know it was you. I know it was you.
Fredo. Okay, The Godfather Part 2 moves on.
If history's taught us anything, it says you can kill anyone.
Now we have Die Hard.
A New York City police officer tries to save his estranged wife and several others taken hostage by terrorists during a party at the Nakatomi Plaza in Los Angeles.
A party?
A party.
What kind of party?
Doesn't matter. It could have been any party.
Really? Oh, you don't like Christmas?
I do love Christmas.
Wow, you probably say Happy Holidays.
I love Christmas. Have you seen Lethal Weapon?
Versus Forrest Gump.
The history of the United States from the 1950s to the 1970s unfolds from the perspective of an Alabama man with an IQ of 75 who yearns to be reunited with Jenny.
Jenny.
This is another very difficult for Zachary matchup.
Die Hard is in the Library of Congress. Bruce Willis's undershirt is in the Smithsonian. Like the movie, it won our best action
What about
movie
his
bracket.
hair? What about his hairpiece?
Well,
from Die Hard 3.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Forrest Gump is on quite a few lists. It was nominated for 13 Oscars. It won 6, including Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Actor.
Die Hard got 4 nominations at the Academy Awards, but didn't win anything.
Forrest Gump has a beautiful score.
Yeah.
And Die Hard.
More so soundtrack.
Die Hard plays a lot of Christmas music.
Listen.
All throughout the score is an ode to joy, I guess. It's not necessarily Christmas.
It's not Christmas.
I kind of hate Forrest Gump because today a coworker said to Joel, "Life is like a box of chocolates."
It did.
Just like that. And I cringed. It hurt me.
I used to run fast as a child, and whenever I did, someone would yell, "Run, Forrest,
run!"
And it made me hate Forrest Gump as well.
But does that not prove how prevalent Forrest Gump is in pop culture? Like, it's just
Still,
part of it.
hold on.
Still.
Hold on. Let's flash forward like 5 years, and when I was running down the street, they'd go, "Yippee-ki-yay, mother!"
No, they wouldn't.
That happened when you're jumping away from helicopters?
Yeah, pretty much.
No, I think the movie that people remember with fondness is Die Hard. I think if people are picking the Zack test, it will be Die Hard all day. I think Forrest Gump...
You forget how big Forrest Gump was,
No, at the time,
though.
it was huge. But guess what? It's like chicken soup for the soul. It's
I hate chicken soup. Why do you say that like it's a bad thing?
It is a bad thing. It's schmaltzy. I don't think the movie is great. I think it's good.
I watched it for our recent brackets, and I think it holds up very well. I think it's an extremely well-made movie, and I have a lot of good things to say about it. I think I just have more good things to say about Die Hard.
Box office, by the way, Forrest Gump really trounces Die Hard. Die Hard got 142 million. Forrest Gump got 678 million. And they're only 6 years apart from each other. So it's not a huge inflation factor there.
Joel, I want to move forward the big dumb action movie over the schmaltzy Oscar movie.
Are you really going to kick out the Oscar movie? We're going to kick out another Tom Hanks movie?
I just think I'm voting for Forrest Gump. I like Die Hard a lot. A lot. But I just think of when I think of film of movies, I think of how big of an impact Forrest Gump made and still is referenced today.
But how? With dumb quotes?
Accessibility, I think, also goes to Forrest Gump. I think more people are able to watch that, enjoy it, and even relate to it because it's that Americana travel through history, all these events that we've heard about. We get to see them happen. So success and accessibility have to go to Forrest Gump, even though I like both these movies.
Like it's a fun little history lesson sort of thing. I get that.
Do you think that...
Why do you have to diminutize everything I say?
Actually,
That's
fun.
a fun little history lesson,
Not even
Joel.
condescending. No, like it is a necessary...
Kent, you've had your condescending button on this entire episode.
No. I'm trying to come back around.
Too late.
Do you think that Die Hard has been relegated to Christmas movie?
Like with the memes? Is that what you're saying?
The meme has turned it into just a Christmas movie?
No, I tell you what, I get tired every Christmas season when it's that whole, every article, like
it makes you like the movie less
every
too, right?
news organization is having that, is it a Christmas movie?
Yeah.
This is what the actor said. This is what the director said. And I'm like, it can be. It's fine.
Just watch it in July. It's still really good,
You can watch it any time of the year. It's a great action movie.
It is fun, Christmas adjacent, but it is, I don't know if that's given it life or if that has turned it into a meme. Do they actually like it or do they like liking it?
I think the script is near perfect.
It's fascinating to me how, yes, it is an action movie, but I'm still really intrigued with, what's going on in John McClane's relationship and what they're actually trying to accomplish by being there. Like, it is interesting. It's not just, oh, cool, big explosions. Like, I guess some of that's there, but the everyman nature of John McClane is what makes this so good.
Am I the only one who's made an official vote so far?
Yeah. What did the listener say again?
The listener score on this one, it's very close. Die Hard is at 7.4. Forrest Gump is at 7.5.
Wow. That is very close.
This is where it gets a little confusing. There were more higher scores for Die Hard, but there were also more lower scores for Die Hard.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So you could almost make the argument that makes Forrest Gump more mid.
And IMDb agrees. Die Hard has an 8.2. Forrest Gump has an 8.8.
Wow. That's really high. It's really hard. So Die Hard is actually kind of a long movie at 2 hours, 12 minutes, but it feels like 90 minutes. Forrest Gump is 2 hours, 22 minutes, feels like 3 hours.
Oh, it does.
It's 10-minute difference.
It does feel quite long.
And you know what? I actually feel like
only 10-minute difference.
Only 10-minute difference.
Wow.
But I think it feels long because it covers so much
because it's
ground.
like it's two significant parts too.
Yeah.
I feel like if we don't vote Forrest Gump ahead, and I like Die Hard way more, people will be quite upset. But
I
like
more
Die
upset
Hard.
than Ghostbusters versus Saving Private Ryan. Let's be honest.
So can we just do anything? Like, is that what you're saying?
I'm saying, don't take that into people being upset because people are going to be upset no matter what we vote ahead. I'm saying vote the way you think is a film of movies.
Die Hard.
You know what's funny? Looking at our listener score, it's their rank. So we did 1 through 64. Forrest Gump is at 36. Die Hard is at 37.
Wow.
They are very close.
Very, very close as far as listener ranking. This is so difficult for me because having watched both of these movies fairly recently, both of them turned into great discussions with my wife about like, oh man, this movie's just actually so good. I love both of them genuinely. But I'm going to go with Die Hard and move on.
All right.
Die Hard moves on.
I didn't see that coming.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Next matchup. Just moving forward. Oh, this isn't any better.
Wow.
Okay. Cue the nose flute.
No.
Schindler's List.
In German-occupied Poland during World War II, industrialist Oskar Schindler gradually becomes concerned for his Jewish workforce after witnessing their persecution by the Nazis.
And The Lion King.
Wow.
Lion Prince Simba and his father are targeted by his bitter uncle who wants to ascend the throne himself.
Did you just nose flute? Can you feel the love tonight?
Because normally he does it for Schindler's List.
I'm so sorry. It felt wrong to have Schindler's List versus The Lion King.
It feels irreverent.
Schindler's List is 3 hours 15 minutes. Lion King is 1 hour 28 minutes. Schindler's List
They come out a year apart.
Is a bracket winner. We talked about bracket winners before. Not that we're giving preference to bracket winners because
just shows its prominence.
Very specifically, that movie is full drama all the time, all emotions. Whereas you have Lion King, which is really lighthearted
until it isn't, and then it is.
It's
right.
sad
Yes.
and it's happy.
The music's quite fun.
Here's my argument, because there's no argument that's not going to sound insensitive.
We have to focus on why the others are good.
Yes.
Not break the other down.
No, but I'll just say box office numbers. Schindler's List is 322 million. The Lion King is 968 million.
Pretty comparable, though, because the budget for Schindler's List was 25 million and Lion King was 79 million.
It made how much money, Joel?
Which one?
The Lion King?
Nearly $1 billion.
Nearly $1 billion. 968
In
million.
1994?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, well, I think that's counting re-releases as well.
Okay, that would make sense.
I think everyone should watch Schindler's List once. At least once.
Okay.
But not a pop-in anytime you want
No,
kind of watch
I agree.
movie. Not highly accessible. Not for children, although teenagers should probably. That's about the age
At a
where you're
certain
like,
point, yeah. It's a must-watch.
It's important to watch it. I don't think it's as accessible. I don't think it isn't as successful. Maybe critically. Which one won more awards?
Well, Schindler's List was nominated for 12 Oscars. It won 7, including Best Picture, Best Director. Lion King was nominated for 4 Oscars, 1 score and song.
You're gonna knock out Schindler's List with the cartoon warthog?
A cartoon lion, and yes. I'm voting for the Lion King. I am voting for the Lion King because I do not. I think Schindler's List is a beautifully crafted, horrifying film.
Most people, including Steven Spielberg, would agree this is his best film.
Second highest scoring listener score at 8.8, median score of a 9.
Which one?
Schindler's List. Sorry, Schindler's List again 8.8. The Lion King at 7.7, scoring 20th. Like the 20th seed, if you will.
It's kind of hard to tear apart Schindler's List.
Don't do it.
But Joel's exactly right. Like Lion King is far more accessible, one that you would watch any single day.
Joel, you've been very vulnerable, and you've put yourself out there and made a very difficult decision.
Yes.
I think you've made a wrong decision.
That's fine.
But because we're best friends, I'm with you. And
Wait, that's what you're going to do?
Wait, you say you're wrong and then you're with me?
You're wrong, but we're friends. And I'm going to go with the Lion King.
Okay.
Pity vote to Oskar Schindler.
No, I don't want to. Oh, let's just move on. Zack, call it.
Wow. If he just had one more vote.
The Lion King moves on.
What do you want me to do? Dress and drag and do the hula? Wow!
Now we have The Sixth Sense.
Malcolm Crowe, a child psychologist, starts treating a young boy, Cole, who encounters dead people and convinces him to help them. In turn, Cole helps Malcolm reconcile with his estranged wife.
Versus Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Teen Miles Morales becomes the Spider-Man of his universe and must join with 5 spider-powered individuals from other dimensions to stop a threat for all realities.
These are both really good movies.
Really good.
Really good movies.
Yeah. Listener
Well,
gave
couldn't be different from each other.
No. Listener gave Spider-Man a 7.5 and Sixth Sense an 8.1. Really high score.
Oh, wow. I'm surprised. Sixth Sense takes the box office here with 672 million.
Spider-Verse was kind of a box office disappointment.
Yeah, which is weird because it's such a good movie. I don't know why
And
it
it
didn't make
surprised everyone. I don't think people trusted the animation at the time.
Or Sony.
Yeah, that's true.
But
And
that's-
yet we do now somehow. Only with
we?
the animated movies.
Madam Web.
Ooh.
It's just weird to me that it is such a big hit, but not at the box office. Like, how did it just... I mean, I guess rentals after.
I wonder if it just really resonates with the people who like comic book movies, and it's not mass appeal.
It's the medium that jumps right out of the movie screen.
Yes.
And it's a full comic book. It did win Best Animated Feature at the Oscars, so it was nominated for one, whereas Sixth Sense was nominated for 6 Oscars, including Best Picture, Best Director. Didn't win anything, though.
And I'm voting for The Sixth Sense.
Easily.
You guys both are?
Oh, yeah, easily.
Okay. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, like I said, is probably one of my most recent 5-star films because I love it so much. But Sixth Sense is the film of movies here.
Yeah, easily.
Agreed. The Sixth Sense moves on.
I see dead people.
Now we have Edge of Tomorrow.
A soldier fighting aliens gets to relive the same day over and over again, the day restarting every time he dies. Sorry, I saw the next one too.
And Groundhog Day, live, die, repeat.
That was my joke I was going to say. A narcissistic, self-centered weatherman finds himself in a time loop on Groundhog Day, and the day keeps repeating until he gets it right.
So it's Groundhog Day versus Groundhog Day at an alien war.
I mean, I think that right there is your answer.
This
right?
is a fortuitous matchup.
Every single time Edge of Tomorrow comes up, what do you say?
It's a Groundhog Day of war movies.
It's Groundhog Day, but with like fighting.
Yeah.
It's Groundhog Day, but with aliens. It's Groundhog Day with mechs. It's
okay, but who's more likable, Bill Murray or Tom Cruise? Don't answer that. It's Tom Cruise.
Tom Murray.
Yeah, not especially in this movie. That's the point.
I think I've grown a distaste for Bill Murray a little bit. Even though I really like
very
Groundhog Day.
unlikable.
But there's a giant and there's a great movie standing on the shoulder.
Fun fact, Edge of Tomorrow actually beat out Groundhog Day in the box office.
That makes sense.
By about 3 times.
Well, they should have. They came out 21 years apart.
I'll do the math, but I shouldn't do the math.
Also, the
Groundhog
budget
Day.
for Groundhog Day was $14 million, so it it did pretty well.
I really, really like Edge of Tomorrow. One of my favorite, most recent films, but Groundhog Day.
Okay, Zack test. Because I don't think either of these are the film of movies, honestly.
Ask me the last time I watched Edge of Tomorrow.
When's the last time you watched that?
Probably a couple years. Ask me the last time I watched Groundhog Day.
Did you watch it for
every
the bracket?
Groundhog Day?
Yeah,
every
the Groundhog Day does
I
have
watch
that built-in. Like,
Okay.
you can watch it at the beginning of February. There's no Edge of Tomorrow, live, die, repeat day.
Sometimes
I hope not.
It's a little controversial.
I don't. It sounds horrible. It's an alien invasion.
No, I was going to say when we did our teaser a while ago about we put Groundhog Day being a good movie. There were a few comments that were like, "Is it a good movie?" And I had to be like, "Yes."
I
it
do
is.
think sentiment has really turned on that movie in recent years. Much like you were saying, Kent. I think people don't like Bill Murray as much anymore.
Yeah. I'm going to pick Edge of Tomorrow from the shelf, but I can't choose it for this because it's not the originator. So
we are such a mess. Groundhog Day moves on.
Now, don't you tell me you don't remember me, because I sure as heck fire remember you.
Now we have Gladiator.
A former Roman general sets out to exact revenge against the corrupt emperor who murdered his family and sent him into slavery.
And The Incredibles.
While trying to lead a quiet suburban life, a family of undercover superheroes are forced into action to save the world.
I'm voting for Incredibles. You guys know my feelings on Gladiator. I think it's a lesser Braveheart. I like it.
I know you say that a lot, but people love Gladiator.
Oh, no, yeah.
I mean, it's nominated for 12 Oscars. It won 5, including Best Picture and Best Actor. It is number 37 on IMDb's top movies of all time list. Incredibles doesn't rank anywhere. Both movies were very successful. Incredibles, obviously being an animated film, made $631 million on a $92 million budget. It was nominated for 4 Oscars and it won 2.
I like Gladiator. I shouldn't say like you guys.
And I don't know why you always kind of hate on the movie, because it's a tier 1 war movie. It's a historical epic. It's a drama. Great villain, great hero. It kind of has everything you'd want. Incredibles, I actually really love as well.
Great heroes, great villain.
I think Incredibles has great writing. The animation's
great
a bit
roller
dated.
coaster.
Yeah,
you mentioned this last time we talked about it.
Gladiator is aging well, and Incredibles is not.
But it is still great. Among Pixar's best. Toy Story, by the way, not on the list.
No.
Rest in peace, Toy Story.
Toy Story, family.
So you say Incredibles, I'm going to say Gladiator.
Oh,
you say potato, I say potato.
It's basically the same thing.
My heart choice is The Incredibles. I'm going to go with The Incredibles.
Okay, wow.
Yeah. That's a very biased choice, and I'm just going to live with it. The Incredibles moves on.
That was totally wicked!
Now we have Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
You okay over
I just
there?
saw the matchup.
In 1938, after his father goes missing while pursuing the Holy Grail, Indiana Jones finds himself up against the Nazis again to stop them from obtaining its powers.
And Star Wars.
Star Wars A New Hope.
I mean, it's just Star Wars.
It's just Star Wars.
A New Hope.
Nope.
Guys, Star Wars, A New Hope.
I don't accept
Where's the episode?
I do not accept your calling.
Episode 4. We don't need a synopsis, right? Star Wars.
It's Star Wars.
It's Star Wars. The original Star Wars. 1977 Star Wars.
So we have a movie directed by Spielberg going against his buddy George Lucas.
Both once beloved franchises who have fallen off a cliff.
Yeah. Whose fault is that again?
Mouse?
So Last Crusade is, I'll say it, more fun than Raiders of the Lost Ark.
I think I've said it on the show.
More fun.
I have more fun with Last Crusade.
And Ilsa, way better than Karen Allen.
Yep.
If that's
the character's better than the person.
If that's
Karen
what we're going
Allen.
with the film of films.
The buddy comedy of having Sean Connery around.
Do you guys prefer Last Crusade or Raiders?
I prefer Last Crusade.
Okay.
I think for fun. I prefer Last Crusade.
Zack, which Star Wars episode do you like most?
I mean, I say Empire.
You're right.
Because you want to be cool.
Yeah, I
No,
think
you're right.
That's
It's a
a cool
better
guy answer
movie.
because it's like the best. I never really cared a ton for Jedi, Return of the Jedi, among the others.
Wow.
I like it, but
It's my favorite.
It's okay.
He was watching Saving Private Ryan.
I was
Oh,
watching
yeah,
Saving
sure,
Private Ryan.
Return of the Jedi.
And I've said before on Baconsale,
This Star Wars doesn't have enough blood.
we wore out Star Wars: A New Hope. We wore that tape out, which does have blood in it, by the way, which
Yeah.
annoys me because it should have cauterized the wound. Whatever.
Unless that creature doesn't have blood that cauterizes.
I accept it. Okay.
Since when did you become a Star Wars expert?
Since always.
That's cute.
All right.
By the way, Indiana Jones Last Crusade is the highest grossing film of 1989, which if you look at 1980 films, it's a powerhouse year.
These are powerhouse listener scores as well. Indiana Jones getting 8.5, Star Wars getting 8.6.
Wow.
Both are within the top 10 of listener rankings.
I do think Star Wars probably needs to go forward. I love Last Crusade. We all love it, right?
Yeah.
It's great.
The pairing of, speaking of pairings, pairing of Sean Connery and Harrison Ford, stroke of casting genius.
Really
Those
is.
two, it just works. I'm voting for Star Wars. It should move on.
I am also voting for Star Wars. It should move on, and it does.
The Force will be with you. Always.
Now, these are actually really well matched. I like this matchup. This is the County Monte Cristo.
A young man falsely imprisoned by his jealous friend, in quotes, escapes and uses a hidden treasure to exact his revenge.
And Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl.
Blacksmith Will Turner teams up with eccentric pirate Captain Jack Sparrow to save his love, the governor's daughter, from Jack's pirate allies, who are now undead. Do we have the Sandlot of Monte Cristo? Is that what we're calling it here?
Both these movies came out about the same time. Monte Cristo in 2002, Black Pearl in 2003.
One's directed by Gore Verbinski, one's directed by Kevin Reynolds. What? No, listen, I do enjoy Count of Monte Cristo. Henry Cavill's in it. It's just more enjoyable, right? It's enjoyable. It's not super memorable. It's a good adaptation of a very long book, very abridged.
This is around the time when Hollywood was doing a lot of the swashbuckling type movies, like The Mask of Zorro, and which never made the bracket, and like Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, stuff like that. Yeah, I just got to vote for Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl, because Count of Monte Cristo, I was really kind of almost obsessed with it for a little bit, but it was just a little bit.
It's quite nearly the blockbuster of blockbusters. It came out of nowhere, surprised everyone, and just
not that big
us.
of a blockbuster. Only made $75 million at the box office, whereas Pirates, which came out a year later, made $654 million and launched a franchise.
No, it didn't.
Oh, come on.
It launched a franchise.
I think we can be in agreement here that we all like Count of Monte Cristo, and Black Pearl should move on.
Yep.
Okay. Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl moves on.
It's not possible.
Not probable.
Now we have Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
A popular high school student admired by his peers decides to take a day off from school and goes to extreme lengths to pull it off, to the chagrin of his principal, who'll do anything to stop him. Directed by John Hughes.
And Tombstone.
Pretty similar synopsis. A successful lawman's plans to retire anonymously in Tombstone, Arizona are disrupted by the kind of outlaws he was famous for eliminating.
And the principal will do anything.
Did Joel just get a text?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Ferris Bueller, we talked about this on the family movie of family movies. We eliminate it fairly quickly because there are 0.7 swears a minute in Ferris Bueller with some pretty serious swears. Is the movie
Tombstone
incredibly enjoyable? But
is
one
R-rated.
Yeah, but one movie's PG-13. And is meant to be a family movie, right? It doesn't quite fit within its own genre, but man, is it enjoyable.
I was actually disappointed by Tombstone. I shouldn't say disappointed. What? I lessened my rating the last time I saw it because aside from Val Kilmer, it's pretty hokey.
Are you sad this is the only Western on the list?
A little bit. There's some really
we
good
don't
Westerns
even have
out
High
there.
Noon or anything like that.
No, there's some really good. We could do Western of Westerns one year, but
Pin in that idea. I like it.
But I'm definitely voting for Ferris Bueller's Day Off here. I think it's a here we go, Zach. Second time I'm going to say iconic teenage movie.
I can agree with it there.
It's one that made a huge impact on the industry, and it launched the careers of some people.
How many iconic mustaches are in it? One?
Rooney's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's like 6 in Tombstone.
Maybe the car attendant guy. He had kind of an iconic mustache.
I vote for Tombstone on mustaches alone. No,
sort of rating it up.
Yeah, no. Ferris Bueller's Day Off got a 7.6 from the listener. Tombstone got a 7.4, and I got to be honest, I'm kind of surprised it ranked so high amongst the listener.
By the way, Zach, I have to point this out because you just brought it up. All the mustaches in Tombstone are real.
Oh, that raises the score.
Yeah, apparently there was a behind-the-scenes mustache-growing contest where everyone was competing for second place because, the king of mustaches is in this movie.
Tom Selleck?
Ron Swanson.
Henry Cavill.
What?
I'm just going to let you guys
That's a beard.
chew on that for a second.
That's scruff.
I'm voting for Tombstone.
Are you really?
I've said it before, I'm not a huge fan of Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I didn't grow up with it. It doesn't resonate with me. I don't know why, but not my favorite movie.
You hate Chicago.
I would never want to go there, so sure, I'll take it.
It's our only John Hughes movie on this bracket.
It is.
And it needs to move forward. Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
R.I.P. Sam Elliott, guys. Sam Elliott's mustache.
Wow. Sorry. Jeez.
Yeah. Not Bill Paxton?
No. Ferris Bueller's Day Off moves on.
Bueller.
Now we have Independence Day.
Okay. The aliens are coming, and their goal is to invade and destroy Earth. Fighting superior technology, mankind's best weapon is the will to survive.
And Interstellar.
When Earth becomes uninhabitable in the future, a farmer and ex-NASA pilot, Joseph Cooper, is tasked to pilot a spacecraft along with a team of researchers to find a new planet for humans.
This is a weird matchup only because Independence Day, huge blockbuster.
Right.
But hokey and cheesy. And also the lowest rated we have on IMDb at a 7.0.
7.2 listener score.
Ooh. And then Interstellar actually did really good at the box office as well, but it's also a little more cerebral, shall we say?
Is.
And not as
Absolutely.
mass appeal.
Right. So
$715 million for Interstellar.
Independence Day was nominated for 2 Oscars. It did win for visual effects. And we have Interstellar. It was nominated for 5 Oscars, and it won for visual effects.
7.8 listener score as opposed to 7.2.
So we have like the really enjoyable movie to the movie that has incredible themes. I think that's kind of like the matchup here.
Interstellar is a movie that both my wife and I did not want to like. And then you see it, and then 2 days later, you're like, that was really good.
Am I the film bro here if I'm going to talk about the Zimmer score in Interstellar?
I love the use of the organ specifically is inspired, frankly.
Is that the one from the TikTok memes?
Yeah, right. But let's all go back to 1996 when Zack was watching many rated R movies.
Yeah.
I think I was watching Total Recall.
Independence.
Yeah.
That was
wow.
like that was the time of the summer blockbuster, right? And Will Smith was huge. Independence Day was gigantic.
ID4, remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the shorthand for this movie.
Yeah, it was a big deal when it came out. This is like marketing to the extreme where you saw it everywhere.
Just the explosions, kind of the brilliant use of miniatures.
So, Joel, I know you're going to vote for Independence Day. I want to know why you think it has lastability.
Woo!
Charisma. Really, by saying that, charisma. This movie has got crazy charisma.
Like I said on the previous episode when we were discussing Interstellar, I gave it a hard time the first time I saw it, and it's gotten better with viewing.
Mm-hmm.
Independence Day and Interstellar are probably on the same level for me right now.
Oh, really?
Popcorn movie versus, wow, it was really good drama.
Both of them, I think, are really slow to start up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're right.
I think Independence Day, I remember, because it's one of those movies you just caught on TBS or TNT partway through, and you just keep watching it. When you sit down and watch it from the very beginning, it's a slow starter of a movie. I actually don't like it.
Both movies have really unexplained endings that they somehow just, it's like Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, the things are good. All of a sudden.
That's true.
No,
we came up with a virus that we can hack into their system somehow.
It's fine.
And black holes, you know?
And black holes.
Makes sense of that.
And I was the one pushing the books. I don't know.
Interstellar was the 10th highest grossing film of 2014. Independence Day was the highest grossing film of 1986 and the second highest grossing film of ever at the time, right behind Jurassic Park. Independence Day made a huge splash. I still think it has a huge influence, meaning if you saw a giant disc in the sky, you probably think it was going to blow up the White House.
I really wish that Independence Day and Groundhog Day were put together in a matchup, because both movies have lived on by being tied to a holiday where you have nothing else to do but watch a movie.
I don't remember the president's speech in Interstellar, Kent.
Do you remember Michael Caine's? The music was playing over it.
Yes.
Ooh, so you're going to Independence Day, obviously.
I wouldn't say obviously, but yes, I'm.
I can't put Roland Emmerich ahead of Christopher Nolan in any universe. It's just disgusting. I think the only influence.
What about Directors That Annoy You universe?
Okay, yeah, that one. I do think
Roland Emmerich, the director of Stargate, Godzilla, The Patriot in 2012.
I like Stargate.
I like Stargate too, actually. I think the only influence Independence Day has had is on Roland Emmerich's own work. And he kind of ruined the action genre for 10 years. Has a really
disaster picks. Do they get better than Independence Day?
Well, that's the thing. They stopped. They're like, yeah, let's keep trying. And then they made Moonfall, you know?
Let the moon fall.
I think Interstellar, while it doesn't have a ton of levity, it has adventure, drama, and action. Combine that with the score, it is definitely cerebral. Not for everyone, but man, it just keeps going deeper and deeper and deeper. And so I'm voting it forward.
Deeply personal take here. Interstellar is so good, it made me stop hating my two most hated actors in Matthew McConaughey and Anne Hathaway. I think they're both pretty okay now. Thank you, Interstellar. I have to vote for Interstellar. It's so good.
Sorry,
and it moves
Joel.
on.
Those aren't mountains. They're waves.
Now we have Mission Impossible.
An American, it's not the summary. An American agent under false suspicion of disloyalty must discover and expose the real spy without the help of his organization.
And Back to the Future.
Marty McFly, a 17-year-old high school student, is accidentally sent 30 years into the past in a time-traveling DeLorean invented by his close friend, the maverick scientist, Doc Brown.
Joel, I love this matchup because no matter what happens, one of these movies is going up against Interstellar next week. And Kent is just going to hate that so much.
I really am.
This is not an easy decision for me, but I am going to vote for Back to the Future.
This is an easy decision for me, and I'm also going to go for Back to the Future.
Oh, wow. Just like that?
Yes. I think Mission Impossible is good. It gets a listener score of 7.4, but Back to the Future is the third highest ranked movie at 8.6.
John Mulaney makes me kind of hate Back to the Future, but it still goes forward.
John Mulaney is wrong.
Yeah.
He's right.
But we can all agree Mission Impossible, probably best film adaptation of a TV series turned into a film
Where
franchise.
did it come from,
I'm
right?
pretty sure that hyper-specific Oscar should be given to them.
But where did it come from? And Tom Cruise starring in a movie adaptation of a TV show.
Oh, by the way, directed by Brian De Palma?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, who's like, kind of those Carrie, Scarface, Untouchables.
And not only that, they're adapting it and they're making a secondary character the lead character in the movie.
Yeah.
And making a franchise on his back.
And obviously with Mission Impossible, it's the start of iconic singular moments. I mean, there are multiple. I mean, you've got
every movie.
Tom Cruise hanging from the bottom, right? Like almost not touching the floor. The rushing of water in the restaurant, like.
And now Tom Cruise is the Jackie Chan of short white guys. All due respect to Tom Cruise, all due respect to literally the franchise that is still going and still succeeding. It is Back to the Future.
We already announced it, yeah.
It is Back to the Future moves on.
Are you telling me that you built a time machine out of a DeLorean?
Now we have Dunkirk.
Allied soldiers from Belgium, the British Commonwealth and Empire, and France are surrounded by the German army and evacuated during a fierce battle in World War II. Directed by Christopher Nolan.
And the Emperor's New Groove.
Emperor Cusco is turned into a llama by his ex-administrator, Yzma, and now must regain his throne with the help of Pacha, the gentle llama herder. Did we just include this because Kronk needs to show up in every single
bracket?
Baconsale bracket?
He's written so
thing.
many brackets.
Fun fact.
This is what's so stupid. I really want to vote for Emperor's New Groove. What's your fun fact, Joel?
It's the shortest runtime. Emperor's New Groove, 78 minutes.
Okay.
Is that even a feature film?
Shortest. Oh, fun fact.
Yeah.
I think it's barely over an hour. I think the credits are about 20 minutes.
Wow. So Dunkirk was nominated for 8 Oscars, including Best Picture. It won 2 technical awards. Emperor's New Groove came out in the year 2000.
That's your fun fact. Dunkirk with a listener score of 7.5. Emperor's New Groove 7.4.
Emperor's New Groove lost money.
Emperor's New Groove was a tumultuous development,
but was saved by the Utah VHS and DVD industry once again.
It's always Utah.
I mean, Provo itself saved this movie.
I'm voting for Emperor's New Groove.
Are you?
I am.
Dunkirk is a vastly better movie and will 100% be forgotten to time. I think it was immediately overwritten, the next year by 1917.
Point of order. I think Dunkirk will be very memorable in the hearts and minds of people who lived in the United Kingdom during that time, or at least have learned that history.
Yeah.
For us over in America, it wasn't as big of it didn't affect us as much. And I don't think this movie maybe, like you said, resonated with audiences. They may forget it down the road. It'll be like, oh yeah, that was a good movie.
I think for the way it showed war, I mean, similar to Saving Private Ryan, which we eliminated. Sorry.
But we're not being very kind to World War II
There's not a lot of specific main characters. There are character actors in the movie, but it's not like a named protagonist, right? But it feels real. But it's also not even...
But I think accessibility to the time dilation differences is a little off-putting for the general audiences. Not the slack-jawed yokels.
Sure. I agree.
Do we hate war movies?
Yeah,
is that what this bracket is?
Well, I love Gladiator. But it's not in my top 7 Christopher Nolan movies. Whereas The Emperor's New Groove is my favorite David Spade movie.
Is it
Really?
just above?
Out of all the David Spade movies that I can think of off the top of my head right now?
Okay, go on.
Just above.
Give me two.
Tommy Boy?
Joe Dirt.
Dickie Roberts?
Oh, I love Joe Dirt. Actually, I changed that. Joe Dirt's awesome. What? Joe Dirt is legitimately great.
No.
Zach, am I wrong? Am I wrong?
Life's the garden, dig it.
What is happening right now?
So we're all voting Emperor's New Groove over Dunkirk.
Over Dunkirk.
Yeah.
I think that it's okay. I think that this is going to be fine. Baconsale hates war movies. The Emperor's New Groove moves on.
Oh, right. The poison for Cusco. The poison chosen specially to kill Cusco. Cusco's poison.
Now we have Jaws.
When a killer shark unleashes chaos on a beach community of Cape Cod, it's up to a local sheriff, a marine biologist, and an old seafarer to hunt the beast down.
And Life is Beautiful.
What? When an open-minded Jewish waiter and his son become victims of the Holocaust, he uses a perfect mixture of wit, humor, and imagination to protect his son from the dangers around their camp.
This is turning into blockbuster of blockbusters a little bit.
I'm voting for Jaws. I love Life is Beautiful. When I'm thinking of film of movies, one that made an impact, one that is accessible, one that was successful, Jaws beats Life is Beautiful almost in every aspect of those.
Jaws wasn't nominated for as many Oscars, only 4, and it only won 3 technical awards, whereas Life is Beautiful was nominated for 7, and it won 3, including Best Actor.
Yes, Roberto Benigni.
Yeah, kind of a big deal, though.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere.
Oh, no.
The movie that made us love subtitles, and I know you love this movie.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you don't.
Jaws scores a 7.4 listener score to Life is Beautiful 7.7.
Really?
Wow.
Life is Beautiful beat?
Did.
Jaws?
Another situation where it has been seen by a lot fewer people, but those who've seen it think highly of it.
Yeah, because it's a beautiful movie.
It is.
It's beautiful.
Jaws is an all-timer.
Jaws is an all-timer.
Of like,
oh my gosh.
movies.
IMDb score, Life is Beautiful gets an 8.6. Jaws got an 8.1. Wow. I'm kind of blown away by that.
Not as much as the shark, though.
Ha 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 ha.
Kent, what do you think?
Jaws.
I'm going to vote Jaws as well.
All right.
Jaws moves on.
You're going to need a bigger boat.
Now it's Titanic.
A 17-year-old aristocrat falls in love with a kind but poor artist aboard the luxurious, ill-fated RMS Titanic.
Against Inception.
A thief who steals corporate secrets through the use of dream-sharing technology is given the inverse task of planting the idea into the mind of a CEO.
Dream heist. That's all you got to say.
Dream heist.
Titanic was given a 7.2 by our listener. Inception an 8.3. Much higher score. So I'm going to be vulnerable and put myself out there right away. I like Titanic, I think, more than
the highest grossing movie on our entire bracket?
I think people don't like it anymore, and I like it a whole lot.
It's good.
I'm putting
it's
myself
really good.
out there, too, because I am not that impressed with Titanic.
No, you poke holes in the dialogue.
It really, it's got an emotional punch that's really good, but then, the dialogue is just so modern of the 90s time that it pulls me out of the movie every time I hear it.
I've thought about your argument. You made the same one when we talked about it on the dramas bracket, and I've thought about it. And you know what? I don't think I noticed because it's all old to me.
Oh, yeah.
So you're going against the movie that was nominated for 14 Oscars, and it won, and that's the highest amount of nominations ever, right? Mm-hmm. It won 11, including Best Picture and Best Director.
Yes.
Nearly swept.
Although Inception does get the higher IMDb ranking. It's an 8.8, whereas Titanic is only a 7.9.
Yeah, that's the difference of number 15 to 83, though, on IMDb's list.
Mm-hmm.
Kent, I'm going to let you vote for your boyfriend because I'm going to go for Titanic because I've said before on Baconsale, I actually find subsequent viewings of Inception, I start liking the movie a little bit less. Every time I see it, I like it a little bit less.
Who's my boyfriend? Is it Billy Zane or Joseph Gordon-Levitt? You decide.
Is it Joseph Gordon-Levitt? Is it Christopher Nolan?
Is this just a heart choice? Because Titanic is the second highest box office earner ever. Third after Endgame now, probably, right?
Probably with Avatar and Endgame.
But that's kind of like we're saying Avatar is the film of movies because it's the highest box office
which
earner
it didn't
ever,
even make the cut.
Our listener completely backs up the choice of Inception. It is our 12th highest ranked movie.
I did just say Dunkirk is like my 7th or 8th favorite Christopher Nolan movie. Inception is number 1. It is a movie
over Interstellar.
Yeah,
over Knowing.
I mean, actually,
following.
That's it.
Knowing as Nicolas Cage, not
right.
on the list. Rest in peace, Knowing.
I should know what your favorite is because we've literally done a show about this.
Yeah, truly.
But I'm somehow surprised.
It's also pretty close. I think Inception said, "Hey, movies, be better." And I know sometimes you're like, okay, this may not make a lot of logical sense, but it basically said, hey, audience, you can expect better from your movies. And I think it's going forward.
It's okay to think in your blockbuster.
Yes.
True.
All right. Inception goes on. And our final matchup of round one, we finally have gotten there. Thank you for holding on. It was all leading up to this moment of Mad Max Fury Road.
In a post-apocalyptic wasteland, a woman rebels against a tyrannical ruler in search for a homeland. With the aid of a group of female prisoners, a psychotic worshiper, and a drifter named Max.
And Casablanca.
In a post-apocalyptic a cynical expatriate American cafe owner struggles to decide whether or not to help his former love and her fugitive husband escape the Nazis in French Morocco. It's so funny. So, Joel, 4 or 5 years ago, we talked about Casablanca, and I said it was wildly overrated. But it had been probably 15 years since I'd seen it.
Right.
And when I rewatched it for that last bracket show, I fell in love.
It's a fun one.
Right. But I had to fall in love and find that love. Like, I had to grow into it, I think. Fury Road, I was immediately in love.
Yeah.
I mean, this is silly, right? These are literally apples and oranges.
I don't know.
This is apples in a dust storm.
Literal apple.
This is literal.
It's not literal. It's figurative.
It's figurative. Literally figurative.
I was shocked. I feel like Casablanca birthed Aaron Sorkin. Like the dialogue,
very witty.
The dialogue in Casablanca is dense. There's a lot of it. It's very witty. It's very snappy. Everybody's very smart. That's something that I was surprised on. I thought this would be a slow, boring movie, and it is endlessly engaging on dialogue alone.
Mad Max was nominated for 10 Oscars. It won 6 technical awards, and Casablanca was nominated for 8 Oscars, and it won 3, including Best Picture and Best Director. Kind of a big deal.
Mad Max Fury Road getting a 7 from the listener. Casablanca getting a 7.1. Very close in score.
In IMDb, Mad Max got an 8.1. Casablanca has an 8.5. I am voting for Casablanca as the classic film that needs...
Are we hoity-toity here, though?
I think we're a little hoity-toity.
Okay.
But I also think...
okay.
I'm just thinking of which one I've seen more often. I'm thinking of which one I would choose to watch.
Would you not choose Fury Road?
Every now and then, just to punch up my adrenaline.
I feel like both you have to kind of be in a mood for.
Yeah.
All right. I don't think I could watch Fury Road anytime, and I don't think I could watch Casablanca anytime.
Doesn't Furiosa say, play it again, Sam, to the Doof Warrior, playing the flaming guitar?
Yeah. I really like...
That's the line, right?
I really like when Sam sprayed his teeth.
Yeah.
Witness me.
With the silver.
Yes, but I'm voting for Casablanca.
You know, we've proven that we hate war movies. And I like Casablanca.
Was filmed during the war.
Yeah, I like
Second World
Casablanca
War.
for being a war adjacent movie. I think it is one of those. I mean, we've talked about that with Gone with the Wind, not on here. When you have these movies that are among that time period, and again, where this was literally released during the war, which still blows my mind. I think that is a really interesting perspective and one worth a movie of movies, a film of movies, whatever you want to call it. What do you think, Kent?
Clean sweep.
Yep.
Casablanca.
Casablanca.
Just like that?
Yep.
Casablanca moves on.
You must remember this. A kiss is just a kiss. A sigh is just a sigh.
We did it.
We did the first round.
It's going to get worse.
It is going to get much worse. But we hope you enjoyed this wandering through this crazy matchup
The most random
of the films of movies. Let us know on Instagram. Let us know on Twitter. Let us know on Facebook if you think we're heading in the right direction and if your pick is still on the bracket. We love hearing from you, so let us know on our social media channels. But before we go, we'd like to give some love to our patrons, those who help keep the lights on here in the Bacon Cave and keep the film reel rolling, including the I'm a Listener tier, which has Taylor Sanderson, Some Guy, starring Madam Hicks, Shadden West, Scott the Laverne to your Shirley Sprague, Ryan and Marley, Rocky and Steph, Lady Terry Finley, Juice the Cooler King Swallow, Jennifer Kielkowski, Casey Cummings, Angela Plotz, Alicia Bass, and Adam and Rachel Crump. And then we have our Bacon Council, which includes the other Brit, Johnny English, the one, the only Chris Anderson, Stephen Everyone's favorite Ross, Star Wars expert Kyler, our favorite couple, the Madsons, Nicole D. Kale, Her Royal Highness Jessica Terry, Glow Clint Daniel, Debbie Foster, and Bigger!
Thank you, patrons.
Thank you, patrons. You are the Paddington 2 to our Psycho. But if you want to find me, you can find me at 76Joel on Twitter, or you can find me performing with Quickwits, who are performing at the Midville Performing Arts Center and the studio. For more details, go to qwcomedy.com or go to the Quickwits Facebook page.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Kenny3DD. You can read my movie reviews at ShowtimeShowdown.com.
If you'd like to connect with me and talk about how Paddington 2 is the greatest movie ever made and it didn't go through round 1, you can reach me at Tumbling Mustard on Twitter and Instagram. But more importantly, make sure you're following Baconsale. You can like that Facebook page. Go to @Baconsale on Twitter and Instagram. But more importantly, make sure you're following Baconsale. Go ahead and like that Facebook page and then visit @Baconsale on Twitter and Instagram. And after you've done that, go to tpublic.com/Baconsale where you can get yourself some merch. And then if you like what's going on here and you want to support us further, go to patreon.com/Baconsale where you support starts at just $3 a month. You can get all sorts of behind the scenes stuffs and of course those bacon bits.
So until next time.
The film of movies.
That's what we ended up going with?
I think so.
The cream of the crop. It rises to the top. Have they seen your Excel skills? Because I'm impressed.
No.
You're even proficient in Excel.
This spreadsheet is fun to make. Say that. You lose the dragon that is somehow relatable as both your pet cat and your pet dog. So they're not good.
Bite your tongue, sir. It has also got the hard R rating, and
which I respect.
Why is your face stamped to a tramp stamp?
What's a bigger biblical story than 10 Commandments?
Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah,
it's in the Bible.
Is the Beast Job?
Because you've been drinking the Code Red. Have you been drinking the Code Red?
And then there's a weird thing with his belly button, probably.
Sounds of lambs is off-putting. Yeah, no, because of the cannibalism,
right,
and other things.
Oddly enough, that's not really off-putting. The magic trick of this movie is that you find yourself rooting for the cannibal at one point. Army!
Is that an Army Hammer reference?
Don't say his full name.
Did I just summon Army Hammer?
No, we're getting sued.
Oh, allegedly Army Hammer.
Allegedly.
Zach, which pill do you want to take? He's like, can I just bite your hand?
Can I take your hand?
You gotta say it, Zach.
Zach, say the line.
And the Matrix moves on.
That's the line. He did it.
Joel's very proud of you.
This is apples and cybernetic oranges.
Liquid Terminator? So good.
T-1000, he has a name. Who's that Liquid Terminator?
Marmalade.
Ooh, I got the chills. I'm thinking about Zach eating me.
Bear. Oh, I am going to put Paddington into the shower and stab him several times.
Marmalade.
There are ghosts and there's lasers. Shawshank Redemption? No sequels. So long.
Movie.
Farewell. I'll see you in the morning.
Are we talking about his eyes or his swim trunks coming up out of the water?
Oh, hey, that actually happened.
Porque no los dos.
2014 and 1993. It's 11 years.
Joel, it's late.
Try your math again. Life's the garden, dig it.
Military lawyer. Military. I'm mad.
Merce.
I can't say military lawyer lieutenant. Military lawyer lieutenant. Okay. Military.
I mean, it had to happen. It had to. Thanks for the setup, though. Military.